Supervisors workshop on the park and recreation discussion. Let the record show that board members Bob, Carol, and Ed are here. Is Flavia online?
Yes.
Is there do we need a motion for this meeting to
Yes,
have
I
to
think
do the
just to
same
make
thing?
sure. Yeah,
Is there a motion allowing?
I will so move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you, guys.
We're getting used to her not being here.
Man, they can go fast, but not that fast. Welcome, Flavia. Do we have Doug also?
Thank you.
No.
Okay.
I did text him asking if he was coming, and I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay. Purpose of this workshop is further discussion on the park and recreation issue relative to financing and trying to determine a way to achieve our 50 to 75% goal of return. I went through this deal that was in the attachment, and somebody's going to have to explain it to me because I did not understand what I was reading.
Okay, so
you want to take it?
yeah, I'll take it and I'll turn it over to Laura because she's my number guru. So one of the things that we talked about was one of the ways to help reduce our deficit of the soccer complex, or really any Parks and Rec amenity, is charging for parking, and so that get to the desired 75% cost expense recovery that the board has kind of given us direction to try to get towards. So with that, I will turn over this analysis to Laura.
Okay. So I tried to put my assumptions into the analysis here. I made 3 assumptions during this. This first part we're looking at is just regarding charging for parking in the paved lots across the street. And we did add in the potential, or the new east lot. So if you look down this area down here, this shows the spaces. We're not allowed to charge the handicap spots, so I did not include those in my totals. I assumed if there was somebody parked there for the entire time that the lots are available, 7 days a week, that's what the first table is. So 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, every spot would be full. Or, if we had 10% occupancy, this is what we would make. If 20% of them were full, this is what we could make. 30% were full, this is what we would make. So that's what this blue table is.
We know that's not realistic.
Right.
That
I
is
was going
just
to say 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. What are we doing there? We're only there 2 days or 3 days.
This is showing you maximum opportunity.
Right. And so then the second table was more realistic. We figured 5 hours from like 5 to 10, 4 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 hours a day, 4 days a week. So 20 hours basically. And again, the green table down here, that's what that would be. At 10% occupancy, we would have the potential of making this. At 20% occupancy, it would be this. 30% occupancy would be this. So that's what those 2 tables are. I know that the blue one is not realistic.
What do we run right now on a typical day of occupancy for, say, 5 hours?
So we had staff go out last week and take some counts. They're going to go out again this week and take some counts, but really it correlates with the use of the rental of the fields. So the league use.
I have a question before you even go there. Okay, so the math is not my issue. My issue is that we did a math for one vehicle. So if you're going to be charging $2 an hour per a vehicle, when it comes to the leagues, they're going to be there for an hour and a half. So it's going to be multiple vehicles using that spot during the day. So the leagues start playing at 9 o'clock in the morning and until at night. So we're going to have like laps on it. So I think we're going to have more revenue than what's here, because one spot may take more hours because more vehicle will occupy that spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, but you'll never get 2 vehicles in one spot.
Right.
At the same time,
yeah.
But you get like, if I have to pay a minimum of 2 hours, but my kid's there for an hour, I'm paying an extra hour, but I'm not going to be there. So then here comes John right after me. He's going to pay for 2 hours. He's only going to also do 1 hour. So now you're piling up 2 hours that people pay, which I don't have a problem with. You know what I mean? So if you're doing a minimum of 2 hours, I'm only talking about the soccer league and the flag. They're only really there for an hour unless they have a child that plays, immediately after the other, which it's very few. But there is that revenue, there is that cushion as well. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure. We didn't include that, or I didn't include that when I did these calculations. I just assumed hour. I didn't do a minimum of 2 hours. I just did, this is how many hours. If there's a car parked in there for this many hours, that's how much it'll
So you
cost.
assumed at 10% of those people would be there for the full 5 hours.
Right.
So if we were back down to what Flavia's talking about, and it's 2 hours at 10%, then these numbers are even 40% of what
Or
they're
higher.
showing.
This
Okay,
is, this
that
is
makes
more
sense.
on the conservative side, based on typical usage, and that's why it's 5 hours for 4 days a week. We know some leagues, when they have tournaments, it's more. They're here more frequently, but
This is more of an
conservatively,
exaggerated view, a lot more money than we possibly would get.
Well, and one way to look at it too is just based on volume, almost like a trip generation where we know how many participants there are, and you can estimate how many vehicles would be on location for the duration, whether
There's
it's
the
1
duration,
hour or
5 hours,
yeah.
yeah.
So with the duration of 5 hours, you got X amount of players, so you can come up with an estimate. There's a couple different ways to do it, but this gives us at least an idea of what potential revenue might look like. There's going to be a variance plus or minus of, I don't know, maybe 20%, maybe even more than that, depending on, because what you don't calculate, or what you could calculate, is parents that drive 2 cars, grandparents. I mean, there's, that does vary
variables.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many weeks is it occupied? Does this take into account there's only X number of weeks of the year that we're,
I did down here. I assumed this
And
thing
you've
keeps
used
popping up.
52 weeks a year?
I did 208 would be realistic for
half
time.
a year?
How
A
many?
little more than half a year.
208 days a year, because that's what the summer shutdown. So again, this number could be
It's like
even higher.
60% then
If
of a
we
year.
can, if we can reduce our summer shutdown, we could offer this even more.
I think the big takeaway is there's a revenue opportunity. I mean, there's nothing to lose
Yes.
by looking to drive revenue through parking. Now, how we do that, I think there still needs to be conversation on how we set that up, how we charge for it,
How do you get the revenues when I was trying to figure out doing this?
Explain that. So we had Paul pulled the county's contract with premium parking. That's who the county uses downtown at all of their spots. And it's essentially, it's a pay by plate. So all you would have to throw up is some signs, your zone, and you log into their app, you pay. We could put a kiosk here if we wanted for the technologically challenged folks. But ultimately you pay by plate.
Do you want to hi, Bob?
Yep.
You pay by plate, and then you pay for 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is, whatever we want to charge. And we could do it, because we'll have to collect sales tax, we'll have to collect, if there's a credit card transaction fee, so we would tack those things on top. The enforcement side of things that we've talked about briefly is either utilizing a tow company or using the tow company to boot vehicles that don't pay. But we would have staff, and we had a call with them yesterday. They said that they could implement in as swiftly as 30 days. We would have to put together, they already have parking plans, communication plans, and how to implement. We meet with the leagues next week to talk about this, but what we discussed was potentially $2 an hour. And speaking with them yesterday, they thought that was reasonable, but they were going to do some due diligence. We also asked a similar scenario that Laura just ran. They were going to do based on their experience and get that to us. And we were going to potentially bring you a piggyback agreement at the January 15th board meeting for your
Here's what I would
consideration.
recommend. If it was me, leagues are getting ready to start. So I think we should monitor. So let's have somebody go out during practice nights, during games, and let's monitor the activity of the parking. Because right now we're speculating on what we
Occupancy.
think. Occupancy. Because I can tell you, people come in, they pull in 15 minutes and they leave. There's a lot of in and out traffic. And I would say if we use the same system that we use downtown, in the beginning, we would probably be lucky to get a 50% capture rate, just because people are just either not going to do it, we're not going to be able to enforce it in time, which again is probably natural. I'm not saying that's a negative thing. We would improve over time. I wouldn't expect to even get 70 to 80% capture within our first 6 months doing this, just because of the way the traffic goes. But what I'm saying is, I think we need to understand the parking and traffic behavior so we can come up with what we think is ideal. I think that's a good, solid method. But there may be some other things that,
No parking company. So when I was at the beach, we had pay stations, and then we converted from pay stations to pay by phone. No parking company that I've found is utilizing pay stations because you have operational costs, you have paper, you have the thing gets jammed, the thing breaks down, it loses communication, whereas everybody has a phone.
yeah. I'm not arguing the solution path. I'm just saying, in order for us to truly understand what our potential is and the best method is, we just need to understand the behavior a little bit. I think it would be that's part of due diligence.
My recommendation is there is zero capital cost invested by the district for this. In order to sign this, it's an 80-20 split with this vendor. I would strongly recommend
And this should be a 24/7 environment, right? So if you're coming to the park, even to go utilize the playground, you park in the parking lot, you pay the parking fee. So, this is a behavior that we're pushing.
And they offer parking permits. So if you're a resident, all you have to do is show proof, either come into the office or online through them. And your tag, because it's all associated to your license, your tag number, you're good for whatever time period we choose. If we want to do parking permits for 33 months.
You charge for the parking permit?
No, we don't have to. That's the purview of the board. I thought we were under the impression no, because every residents are already paying for it as part of.
Well, I think we need to have a discussion on that.
I think,
Whether or not we're going to charge for all parking or for non-residents. And I don't know if I have a point of view on that right now, but it is something we need to discuss.
I have a question.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Carol. I'll go after you.
So Doug, you're saying that a lot of people that come and park to either pick up or to drop off. And they're not necessarily there to park and watch a game or anything like that.
There's three behaviors that I can think of. One is you park, you stay, you watch, you leave.
Yeah.
The other behavior is you park, you drop off, you leave, you come back, you park, you watch. So it's like sometimes these, like for flag, most coaches want you there 30 minutes prior to the game. So
Okay.
some parents that live in the community will just go drop off and then come back. So there's some behaviors that are coming and going, and some will park, stay, leave, come back for a second game or something along those lines. That's why, if you're paying by the hour, you're paying for when you're there, as opposed to some parks they charge you one time to come in,
Pass, yeah.
and you're good. But if you leave and you come back, you have to pay again. Or sometimes they give you a little ticket and you just show it and say, I've already been in. It's good for 24 hours or whatever. But there's different behaviors.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's a problem and that the proposed solution won't be able to solve. But again, there's just different behaviors.
So
So
one thing,
at peak times, when the parking lots are full, how do you capture the ones that are parking on the grass
That's a
or
beautiful
on the
question. And
sides? Or
Great question.
So that is a question that we asked, and it is a pay by plate. And so we would have a park attendant going by, because they would be able to access anybody who's paid on a smartphone. They would scan the plates. They would see if they're paid or if they're not paid. The plan would be to have a tow company, staged up or on standby, either with a boot or preferably a boot. So that way, A, it sends a message to everybody else, but then B, you don't come back from your kids practicing, where the hell's my car?
Here's a question. So if you're with the county or if you go through Leeway, they take a picture of your plate, they'll just bill you. Or if you're misbehaving in Gateway Greens, they'll take a picture and they will fine you remotely. I'm not a big fan of towing and booting in our park environment, at least in the very beginning, but unless they're parked in an area where they absolutely shouldn't be parking. But anyway, is that an option? Can we remote fine?
Not
Okay.
fine.
We cannot find.
Can't fine. Okay. So you have to go through the service or not. But it's not a fine. It is a fee. It's a parking fee.
What we need to do is, again, before you have this, I think you need to set in place parking policies by virtue of rule. Detailed parking, as to where can you park just in a regulatory scheme, and then you adopt the rates, fees, and charges. So I think we need to have like a rule development. If you want the board, when we get into regular session, you can say, work with staff and publish a notice of rule development to establish rules, regulations, and policies with regards to parking at the district
Okay.
property, including not limited to.
Am I hearing that residents don't pay,
Yet to
but
be
guests
determined.
pay?
Yet to be determined.
Yet to be determined.
Yeah.
But that's one
It
possibility.
is a possibility, sure.
Okay.
Okay, I have a
Obviously,
question.
Roughly 50% of our people are on the league, 50% aren't paying then.
Correct.
Let's make that assumption.
I am,
Bobby,
well,
go
we
ahead.
pay, we pay taxes for the county and we still have to pay for parking if we go downtown, you know what I mean? So I'm not, I would like to be, my personal opinion, be clean. Because remember, we're going back to, there's a safety issue. So to Doug's point, there are people that suddenly you're gonna have to park for $2. They're gonna carpool, husband and wife. Suddenly the grandma's gonna go to their house and they're gonna go together. So we're gonna alleviate maybe even the need to build the other parking lot. If we can control them by educating them that they can carpool, that they can do things differently. So I would like to see this implemented, my opinion, sooner than later, because that will allow us to make a decision on that parking lot. Because suddenly, if there is no longer a need, that we may have 10 cars, 15 cars, which I don't think is that bad, park on the side, you know, it's fine. But when I'm talking, the last time I was there, I count 136 cars. And that did not include on Griffin or at the school.
I mean, my
Okay, I
opinion would
went-
be, Flavia, like to what you're saying, my opinion would be is the parking fees would directly fund the
parking lot.
The additional parking lot.
Yeah.
Because at some point that becomes, it's paid for and it becomes revenue. Now, there are other aspects of the part that we're trying to offset, which is why we're driving revenue. But what I don't want to have happen is drive behaviors where people, even if we are charging, but they're parking in places where they're not supposed to because we don't have adequate parking. And the other thing is, when you think about is we have an agreement with the school. So, and a lot of parking happens over at the school. So do we regulate that in accordance with our ability to charge for parking on the school property during?
I don't know that we can. I think they're gonna want a piece of the pie as well as part of that interlocal, but I would just, the example I've used, when you go to Hertz Arena for a concert, you pay to park close to the stadium. If you don't want to pay to park close to the stadium, you go to Miramar and you walk your behind all the way to the stadium. There's nothing, to Flavia's point, we're trying to drive good behavior. And if good behavior, if you want to save $2, you can park over there and walk to the complex.
Well, I would say, if we're really being truthful, we're trying to drive revenue, and safety is also a parallel, but that's, you know, we're either that or we, and that's why the leagues should absolutely get behind this, because
School sees that we're driving revenue, they're going to ask for a piece of the action.
well, why can't they, I wouldn't have any
No, I don't know. I'm not
problem
opposed. I'm
with the
not
school
opposed
being
for
able to do the
them.
same thing.
Yeah, I'm not opposed of them utilizing the same service side by side with us. We can control our property, right? What we own. And if they suddenly, I mean, there'll be no difference if suddenly the school says, you know what, I don't want to have an interlocal agreement with Gateway Services because I'm going to do exactly what you did on our side. And who should we to say that they can't do that, you know?
That-
We
that's a good
try to
point.
get the school involved with this, whether they get a piece of the action or not, try to get them involved such that this is not an out for people to use that.
Yeah, go park over there so
To
you
go
don't
over
have
there
to
and
pay.
park for free.
And then we're overflowing that parking area, and there people are parking where they're
Absolutely.
not supposed to be. And so I think if we're going to do it, we have to designate all parking,
Yeah.
available parking in the area. Even if there's overflow across the street, which, you know, I think we need to look into being able to park in the grass, you still have to park. I don't think we should make a difference.
Let me leap ahead. Is this conversation going to be needed if we give the soccer complex to the county? Is this
No,
moot at that point?
It becomes moot at that point.
If this
Yes.
doesn't, if we assume that the owners, which, let's say for easy calculation, 50% is owners that will be exempt. You do that and you go to that second one, 5 hours, 4 days a week, and assume that that's double. You go to that 50% occupancy and that 321 just become 80.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
it's-
not making any money
Yeah.
doing this.
To me, I'll do it all. Anywhere
Yeah,
that
I
we
agree.
park, we pay tax everywhere, and we do not get a discount, you know what I mean? So I don't think that we're doing anything different that it's out there. And, then remember, this is a small percentage of people utilizing the soccer field. Then there's a much larger, amount of residents on Gateway and Pelican that will say, let's go for it, because if they're utilizing more, then let them subsidize, what the cost is.
Well, and then the question leads to, and Tony kind of brought this up, our policy should not just extend to this area. It's a gateway.
All district property.
All district property. So at the
Fun park.
at the fun
Yep.
park, at the new Commons park, all those areas, we implement this same thing. So if you go to play pickleball or to go,
The pool.
to the pool, you pay for parking. I don't think that's unreasonable, as long as our fees are fair and
Well, if you're
defendable.
exempting owners, it's not an issue anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they should-
which I don't know if we should do that. That's just my, again, I don't know where I land on it, but I would say if you're just charging $2 to park, I don't think that's a big deal.
The number I was trying to get to is to try to find out we've been talking 50 to 75%, but 50 to 75% of what? What's the total number? There's two alternatives here for recoupment. One operating, which we've been saying is somewhere around $450,000, and then there's capital, which could be another $300,000 amortized over 10 years. 700,000, 50%, 75%, you're talking $350,000 to $500,000. We're way
Way
short.
under that, yeah.
We're way short.
Well, it's,
So if we don't have somebody to come to us to say, hey, I'll put up that 350 and I'll guarantee that 350 for the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever, we're chasing a goose. It's not going to work. You're not going to make the money. It just is not there.
Well, my thought on this was, it doesn't, to Doug, to your point, we've watched the parking lots be what they are for years. I would much rather implement and watch for a year with it implemented and generating some revenue. I mean, we can sign a contract with Premier Parking for 1 year and monitor and see what happens and renew at the end of the year, or not renew if we're not making money. But it is clearly a cost that we can recover and at least help
Something, yeah.
reduce that gap.
the only negative to this would be any PR. I mean, that's really, because from a cost perspective, it's minimal. Everything is pretty much positive. What I was saying is, I wouldn't want you to monitor it for 6 months. I agree with you. I think if there's opportunity, it's low cost, low implementation level of effort, we move forward. But I'm saying, we've got a couple weeks. Let's understand the behavior so we can get in front of issues that we might run into. So we're trying to get in front of some of the PR backlash that we might get, so we're prepared for that. Because again, that's normally what gets our concern. When we have
negative, be received.
yeah, people, no one wants to pay for parking, but I think most people understand it. But you are going to have some complaints. I only came in for 10 minutes. Why do I have to pay for a full hour or whatever? I mean, you're going to have some of those complaints, but those are the things we have a good communication plan as we roll out. We coordinate
Premier.
positively with the leagues, because that's where the bulk of the impact's going to come from. But then we also have to make sure that we've got adequate parking, that we're thinking about what does overflow look like. So we're not driving, even out of the gate, we're not driving people to park in areas where they shouldn't be parking. So now we've got damage to property because people don't want to pay the $2 for the parking. So we just need to think through all the and that's why I was saying, look at the behavior, look at where people are parking and how we're going to monitor and measure it and enforce.
And Tony, I have a question for you. So I know, were you looking at us having the ability to park underneath the FPL easement, at least on the same side of the road?
That was the area I was looking at, but I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if we validated whether we can park over there or not.
I thought Tony was gonna look into it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Across the street in the FPL easement, how we have the entryway to as overflow.
As much trouble as they give us on everything else, I'd hate to think of the red tape we have to go
But
through.
interesting enough, the experience I had with other clients is that FPL doesn't really get, as long as it's below the 14 feet, they don't really get all that annoyed about parking.
The only thing I
In
could
fact-
see is backlash from the abutting property owners that live right there, and there's no lighting underneath there. So that's another
Oh,
concern.
it is true. It is actually pitch black over there. I totally have to agree with it.
Recognizing it's a different high voltage transmission line. Again, I go back to, there's one in Naples along Livingston Road. There's an employee parking lot across from seat to table. You may not see it now. The vegetation's grown up so tall that it's under an FPL easement. But the lights are, short lights.
I think
and there's
FPL is
lighting.
going to be
But again,
way
it's
up
not
liability.
as high as the high voltage.
Well, I think we
transmission
should,
lines.
I think we should just, let's look into it. Let's at least ask the question.
Absolutely.
And if lighting does become an issue, I mean, one of the biggest high volume time periods is literally just Saturday. So we can open the gate on Saturday, have overflow parking.
Yeah.
Really the times are Friday nights and Saturdays. And I would just start with Saturdays, opening the gate, overflow.
The other thing that I just want to bring up is something to contemplate. And again, farmer's market. I don't think we would want to charge people to come to the farmer's market. We're trying to entice that as a district program, a district thing. So that company can change the rates in a matter of 2 minutes, just with a simple call. We can say during business hours. I know like at the beach, they offer at town hall. You can't park there during the day during normal business hours, but outside of business hours, you can park there and you can pay the fees. But that's just like Winterfest. Would we want to charge at Winterfest? Like our district promoted events that's, again, just something else that we're thinking about if we implemented this. The PR Premier they've implemented many of these parking programs throughout the state, throughout the whole Southeast. They've got, packets on communication plans that we could utilize. But I think it's a low risk, potentially high reward for the district. And I think it would be worthwhile at least entertaining it for a duration of time.
Bob had a good
Well,
recommendation.
what is your thought about when this would start?
Well, to Tony's point, if we need to do an entire rule and
Talking February, March.
You say, Tony?
February, March timeframe.
Which would gear us into next season,
the winter.
which is probably, we would want to probably give ourselves that much of a leeway a season.
The paperwork wise, like piggybacking the county's agreement and working with the vendor, it's nothing. And they said it's less, probably 30 days. It's some signs and back end stuff. We would just have to have some decisions made on resident parking permits or not, hourly rate, locations of areas that we want to require, fun park, soccer complex, or is it district wide? Just some of those questions that would need to be answered. I could have them come and do a dog and pony show for you guys at your January 15th meeting if you'd like.
Well, my thing is that, getting back to what Carol said, and that's 50 to 75. I want to know where that 50 to 75 is coming from before I agree to do anything. Because if they're not willing to come up with the extra $300,000 to $400,000, and that translates to fees that they're going to have to charge. If they're not going to be willing to do that, why are we
Wait, what are you talking
wasting
about,
time
3 to
doing this?
What fees for who? What are you talking?
We're talking about trying to generate revenue of 50 to 75% of our total cost, which
Okay.
are going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of around $700,000. If you do capital. If you don't do capital, it's about $400,000. So you're looking at $200,000 to $300,000 that we have to come up with
Of
revenue.
That's our revenue goal.
But that's a
in order
one-time
to be at
thing.
50% of.
Yeah,
of-
that's the goal. The issue
O&M.
is that if the leagues are not going to commit to creating that revenue, then this isn't going to get it.
Well, I don't even say, I don't think it's so here's my point on it. I don't think it's a league issue. I think it's our staff and district issue.
I think it's.
We're the
I
ones
agree.
we're the ones that are responsible for the revenue. They are input to that revenue, but it's not like we go to them and say, we need you to figure out how you can double what you pay us. We basically set the rates. And this is what, Chelsea, you and I've had a little conversation on this, but one more point. But it's also our responsibility to drive programs and additional revenue opportunities so we can meet that 50%. Now, one pathway to that is we set fair and reasonable prices for leases, which help us get there. But to me, I don't even put the leagues in the equation. We're going to set the rates. We determine what our goals are, and then the leagues, it's up to them to determine whether they're going to.
I look at it a little differently, Doug. I look at it, we have a target, a cost number we want to get at. Here's one little piece of it's going to offset. Mr. League, you got to offset the difference.
They're
Yeah,
not,
that's-
it's not their job to help us meet our revenue goals.
No, it is, but if they
At all.
want, if they want to use our fields, this is what we need from them.
So
Yeah,
the way the agreement
then we
works,
set-
it's
but
just,
then
one
we
second,
set the
Bob.
price.
The way, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like if you're leasing a building. The owner doesn't say, hey, I have a $5,000 mortgage. How are you going to help me get there? He goes, no, it's X amount per square footage. You either pay it or you don't. We set the lease, the agreement for the
then what-
leagues,
then
say
what-
you either pay it or you don't. I mean,
Okay,
it's
well,
that
then that
straightforward.
would be the other option then. Translate that, take that 50 to 75, 250 to 300,000 without capital, double that with capital and say, hey, this is the deal. We've calculated the number of users you've got. The new field rental rate that was $25
Okay.
is now 100.
Okay, so
That's simple.
thank you for that segue. Laura, please, take it away.
By the way, before you get into that
You're
segue,
not Laura.
I know, well, I am too. It's also helpful from the standpoint when you look at the statute dealing with how you charge rates, fees, the basis for them. And again, it's focused on the services or facilities provided. In this case, it's parking. So that's what you look at from the standpoint of what
Well-
factors come into play.
Only parking in terms, that's the increment we're looking at. We're looking at the fields.
No, I understand, but when you look at the statute, that's why, to Ed's point, that's where the number might be greater for the fields because it says the rates shall be just and equitable, uniform, may be based or computed either upon the amount of service furnished, which is parking, upon the number of average numbers of users residing or working or otherwise occupying any other factor affecting the use of the facilities furnished.
Or
Or any
service furnished is
combination
the
of the
field.
foregoing.
That
Yeah.
we're offering a field, that's a service.
Well, the service is the parking for the field. So
Let
that's, we just need to be careful, that's all.
So if you recall, 3 years ago, we had the same conversation. We said, how can we get closer to 50%? That was the goal 3 years ago. Laura did those same calculations to get to your 75% based on this. So I'm gonna let her explain this next.
About that, but I just want to,
It's all right.
Sure.
So I'm gonna let her
So
explain this
Ed
next
had a
part.
perfect segue for me. So it was painful, but I got the information out of Facilitron. The majority, some assumptions that we made, again, I have assumptions for everything, that the majority of the rentals are for fields 2 through 5. The projected field rates excludes lights because we charge that separately. Not everybody uses them. And then we had an average of 2,588 field hours between fiscal 24 and fiscal 25.
It's each
Is that per each year?
year.
An average of, yes,
Each
per
year.
year, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the calculations, not on this sheet. And then just assume no increase in expenses, just to keep it easy. So if you look, let's just start like with 25, where you were saying, we had a total of $380,000 of expenses related to the soccer fields. I subtracted the electricity because we're accounting for that by the rate that we charge for the lights, which left $363,000 of expenses needed to be recouped to come up to a 100% recovery, which would mean we would have to charge $140 an hour for the rental of those fields. So I just took this 363 divided by
And we're now
2588,
charging what?
67.
67.
So here's what I did this down here.
Okay, so we know-
So if we wanted to take 3 years to get up to that rate, I just bumped it up each year. So this year we're charging 67, next year it would go to 92, then it would go to 116, and then it would go to 140. So that would give us 3 years to get there.
But that's to 100%.
Yes.
I'm going back to what we
That's
said, 50 to
not bad.
75.
That's
So if
75%,
I take
right?
363.
Hold on. This is at 75%.
No,
No, that's 100%. It
yes,
is 100%.
it's to recoup
Okay.
our costs.
So if I take 363, take 75% of that, then divide that by 2588, that will be a new number, which should be somewhere around 120.
Yeah. Right.
That's the number that would be, as far as I'm concerned, would be instantaneous. It's not 3 years to do it, it's instantaneous.
How's that compared to what we get now?
5%.
Yeah.
Double.
Hold on, Laura's
I
gonna
think-
do,
So
Laura's
So
gonna
are
do
we
the math.
talking, Ed, I have a question. So
Yeah,
since
go
the
ahead,
leagues
Flavia.
are, so the leagues are starting now, so that's paid. So it will be instantaneous, but on FY 27, right?
Unless you vote a new fee
Starting
schedule.
October 1st of 27.
Unless you vote a new fee schedule in before that.
Which we
So-
typically do our rates, fees, and charges in June. That way we can implement for the winter season. So that way they know how much they're charging. So Laura just did the math, Ed, based on your 75% number, the 363 times 75%, divide by the 2588.
This is 105.
So it'd be $105. Now,
Well,
I'm
that's FY 25. What's FY 26?
I didn't plug that in.
But I'm a caveat.
Because that number is going to be bigger.
That number's exactly. The point is the number could change depending on, back to Doug's point, the management. So reducing our expenses, increasing our revenues, getting more league rentals, reducing our summer shutdown. So there's all these factors in there. But in order to get, just based on the average of the last 2 years, we know 2,588 hours is the typical. What do we got to do to get there? And so
How much additional hours do you feel like there's opportunities? Because
3 months in the summer.
okay.
I mean, it's pretty much 3 solid months.
We're shut down June, July, and August.
And we don't have any league play on Sundays, do we?
We do.
Yes.
We do.
Cruz is
Adult.
here.
So there's no, at this point in time, the calculations are for no summer opportunity.
Correct.
Okay.
I said I made
Okay.
assumptions, all things remaining equal.
Because we've said, if you don't rest those fields, they're going to just get worse. So we haven't got an answer to that problem.
Correct.
We do technically rest the fields because you almost have 2 months in between seasons.
They do like trainings and clubs and.
Yeah, but
all
you're
those-
not at high intensity. I mean, we're not shutting them
True.
down. I mean, maybe there's a habit of after each season, we shut the fields down for 2 weeks.
We do maintenance.
Yeah, so you shut down for 2 weeks and we do your care, your preventative maintenance. So there is some shutdown, and our usage is pretty much in very small windows, like 4 hours out of almost 20 hours of rest is happening on these fields. I think the problem is our maintenance schedule program, as opposed to, having the fields sit and rest for months at a time, because there's other.
Well,
So
This all goes back to the fields need capital investment because the drainage is the issue in the summers. It's a swamp out there. And if we as it sits today, let people come and use the fields during the summer, you guys know those summer rains are going to destroy it with all the feet and the cleats. So it's all it's all connected, but the end goal is reducing our gap. And how do we accomplish that? And we've shown you 2 different ways to generate additional revenue in the next year.
But they're paying the electricity separate.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I subtracted those costs.
Okay.
Because
Well,
we're
then the only
charging
thing I would
$37
say
an
is
hour.
We need to take the 75%. I would go with that, but I would take the FY26 projections to make sure that we've got the number, because 105 could be 110 or 115 based on that. And basically go to them and indicate this is what we're raising the rates to effective October 1, 2026.
And part of that conversation, if it was me, it's year over year, our O&M and capital expenses increase. It gets more expensive to manage these fields than it does. They're not getting cheaper, right? So we have to increase our lease agreement on these fields in order to continue to operate and improve and have them where they're at.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, if the leagues don't agree, then there is a reasonable and viable chance that these could be handed over to the county, which there is maybe even a 50-50 chance that the county would not even renew that league or even offer it to them for continued use. So, I mean, and the last thing I want is to price the leagues out. I mean, my kids have played here, and I think it's a value to the community. I think everyone kind of knows that. But at the same time, I see the league prices continue to increase at dramatic rates, while and I'm not saying that the cost to run the leagues hasn't increased as well, but if you're comparing apples to apples, we're not increasing our fees at the same rate that the leagues are increasing their registration fees.
I agree with that.
And the intent is next week to have this conversation and they might not even know that we've had these conversations about turning it over to the county. So getting their support and to Ed, to your point, kind of their buy-in, and maybe they're open to renting out further and guaranteeing and securing. We don't tell them they can't rent winter next year. We just try to work with them because they're collecting revenues for the next season right now. They're not collecting next winter's revenues. So we're trying to work through that, and maybe a contract is.
And keep in mind, this is exclusive of capital, which is almost doubles this. So those rates are going to go substantially up if we have to continue to provide additional capital facilities. And they got to understand that easily 220, 230 an hour is where this thing's headed.
Well, and we can do some
I have a question.
comparisons. Wait, 1 second, Flavia. To do some comparisons, I mean, Fast Tracks just opened up. I mean, you have to look at this as a recreational facility. If you go to Fast Tracks and you want to spend an hour there, you're going to spend a pretty penny. You want to go to Top Golf and rent a bay for an hour, you're going to spend a pretty penny. And this is looking at this, how many players that they're putting on each field. I mean, you know probably better than I do, Doug. I mean, this is, I don't see that this is unrealistic.
There is definitely a potential for revenue, but I do want to touch base with something that Doug said, and that is something that Doug has said over and over, and I don't see it coming to the table. So during the times that we're closed down, we're closed for soccer, but what are other activities or other items that can be brought up to the board for discussion by, Parks and Rec staff to help with this? Because I haven't heard nothing. Farmers market, that was already implemented. So what does staff have to say? Like, what is the outside of the box? What are they thinking? Do they even come with solutions for this or not?
Yeah, so some of the ideas that we've tossed around internally is converting Field 5 into a football field. We've reached out to, what's the?
Pop Warner?
Pop Warner, thank you, Carol. We've reached out to Pop Warner and see if there's even a need or a desire. We're waiting to hear back from them. Doing kickball, adult kickball, co-ed kickball tournaments in the summer. That would be run by the district. But again, these are things that we need the programming that PRAC is looking into to implement when it comes to these types of new programs. So we do have a limited staff right now that's managing all of these. So putting more programs without looking at the bigger picture, especially with the commons coming on and having to secure those facilities and, monitor and manage those, it's a lot. But there's definitely opportunity if we can reduce the window in the summer to offer programs there.
Like we talked about events, right? I wasn't a huge fan of the only event that we had with a musician. I was there for a very short time, but I'm thinking events. Like we talked about the Taste of Gateway. I know we tried to talk to Danny Rhymes and he didn't want to kind of put it in because he wanted to do it on his own. That was 3 years ago. In 3 years, we did nothing because they were going to do it. So, we had a huge turnaround. It's almost equal, if not half of as much people that came in for the holiday event. So like a one-off kind of event that can generate a big amount of money for us.
Like
that's
admissions.
that's what I'm asking staff for,
We have a huge area for concerts.
Concerts are big
Things
money
like
maker.
that.
Huge.
Can be a big money maker.
Yeah,
Get the right group.
thank you, Bob. And I think that was, for me, that was the biggest. I would have definitely jumped in and seen what the tavern, not the tavern, what the Fort Myers Brewery used. That type of music, maybe somebody bigger and bring it in. That would be what my idea, because you already know who is going to attend. Is the same people that are already in the same geographic location. So I think I'm looking for one-off things that will bring big money.
Agreed.
So where are we going next?
Well, so ultimately, if you'd like us to try to work on the notice of rulemaking, the piggyback agreement, the dog and pony show, we can bring, premium parking will come and do a dog and pony show.
I think we should have the vendors that are there now working with us and have worked with us. They should be coming in here and they should understand what we're doing and know right now.
You mean the leagues?
Whoever's paying these bills that we're expecting to generate revenue, have them come in here and let them know there's two things we got. We got an operating side, we got a capital side. The operating side, we're looking at least doubling what you're paying.
Yeah.
If we put in the capital, we're not only going to be doubling it again, but we got to have a commitment. Otherwise, you come in here for 1 year, and we do it a 10-year investment, we got 9 years on the hook.
Yeah. Well,
no revenue.
But I think when we're looking at that, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I think when we look at the number has to come from existing revenue. If we increase that, yes, that's an opportunity. net new revenue opportunities, specifically with field and facility usage. And then there's a third bucket, which is, new revenue opportunities like parking and those types of things, because
And
that's the
and
number
and
by
the
all
concession-
three of those.
And the concession stand, that might be.
Absolutely.
That might
So
be.
there's a lot of different levers. I don't want to just,
No,
I
that's
don't
why I
want to
like
just
Ed's
say,
idea. Let's
we're
get them
gonna-
all here.
we're gonna,
Well-
Get the
we're gonna,
synergy of
we're gonna
that.
increase the field costs to make up for all the dollars. I mean, that may be the only lever that we have to pull, but I don't want to look at that solely.
I think this, although it's not typically what we've done, this may alleviate your concern, Ed, is to do one field per year. And we know it's $200,000 per field for the larger fields per year, maybe a little bit more
Capital investment.
capital investment. And then that way we're not tying ourselves to a 10-year. And if we don't recoup the 200,000, we don't do the field and we don't do the next field the next year. It's not the most.
Pay as you go.
But you still got the payment for the one that you got that you didn't pay for, though.
But then you adjust your rates for your field rental for the next year to help recover that.
Well, if they don't pay, they're not here. That's my point. It's all on the come.
It's a risk.
Yeah, I know it. It's not worth
There's
that
no
risk.
shortage, there's no shortage of leagues and opportunities in our area. You've got everything from tackle
keep hearing
football to
that,
flag
but-
football to lacrosse.
Okay.
Uh,
And I believe you, but I don't see people beating down our door to rent them.
Well, because
Rent the
we've
fields to
been,
do it.
We have turned people down
Because of
Okay,
the
all right.
lack of availability of the fields.
All right.
yeah.
when they want them. And
I
that's,
think if we get them in here in front of us and we explain to them what we've got, show them the numbers, and get an idea from them that they're going to go along and stick with us on this for both the operating and the capital concerns, that'd make me feel a heck of a lot better before I start spending any money.
well,
Because if they're not going to agree to that, it says, just say, we can't sell it, then what do we do?
and that's,
Well, I think
Then you go
there's
out to
another
bid.
thing too.
then you go out to bid.
Are the fields worth $160 an hour?
yes. Yes.
I mean, in the
I mean,
big
you can
scheme
s-
of things, Lee's a big county. Is what we have out there worth that amount of money?
To put it into perspective, roughly, I think one of the leagues is getting close to $200 per season, per kid. And they have how many kids on a
But
team?
how much of that is going to whoever they're renting the fields for? That's the issue. $200 a kid, if it's 199 is going to the guy that's doing the league.
Running the show.
Yeah, that doesn't
Well,
answer the
we go
question.
back to
How
what
much
we've
is
done.
going to us? What do they have to charge over and beyond our money to make their
But
league go?
that's not our concern. We're only concerned about recapturing our expenses.
It will become our concern when we tell them what our number is, because our number is so significantly higher than what they've been accustomed to.
Let me do this. Let me meet with
But
the,
this is the real world.
I'm sorry.
You are correct. It's significantly higher than what they're paying right now. But this is the real world. And they know that that is either an asset to them or it's not.
That's right.
And
I
that's
agree
their
with
decision.
Carol.
What did you say,
I
Flavia?
100% agree with you. I 100% agree with Carol. And it's
Yeah,
kind of
I-
what Doug said. That's the cost. That's the price. You want it? Great. You don't? You don't. I mean,
And I'll go back to what I said before. I think that one lever to pull is we have to increase the fees. The other is we bring in additional revenue opportunity through programs, which I'd really like for us to get serious about that. And the third piece is kind of net new revenue opportunity, like the concession stand with parking, that kind of stuff. But one of the things that we should do, and I think you guys have done it in the past, but it's probably a good idea to circle back, but we need to look at what field lease costs in the surrounding area.
we have that.
Yeah.
We're working
So
on
go to
that.
Naples,
Yeah.
go to other areas in Lee County, because I will tell you, having 4 boys and I spend 5 days out of the week on a field somewhere, field space and good quality usability is in Lee County, I should say, is hard to find. Collier County a little different, because they invest a hell of a lot more in their parks and rec, and they also have private
And the
funding too.
convenience for having it here. I mean, that's worth something
Yeah, and I mean,
Close proximity.
as compared to going downtown to
Yeah.
So-
Okay, so we're going to put something together. Or are we going to try to get somebody in here at that January meeting to talk about this?
So what we can have prepared for the January meeting is premier parking, because that's an easy implementation. And start to get that implemented and revenue generated from the parking.
For 2026.
Start working on the policy.
Well,
Is
that's
it-
part
is
of
it
working with Chelsea
possible-
on the rule and the regulating the parking, and also in the meantime, do the notice of rule development and have a draft of the rule for the board at the
And
meeting
then
in
we'll,
January.
as part of that, amending the fee schedule.
That'll be a comprehensive.
And all of this is going to run parallel with the opportunity to turn it over to Lee
Yes,
County.
I've sent the
Okay.
note,
They're not mutually exclusive. We're not going to wait.
I've only received a response from one commissioner, and I haven't heard anything back from anybody else. So,
Okay. So clearly we got to
Is it
tweak
also
them.
possible in January where you could have, where staff can have a whole program outlined? So we would increase the fees, we would put parking in place at X, Y, and Z, we would open the concession stand for blah, 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 with so-and-so, approximate, estimate of revenues would be blah, blah, blah. A whole program, like these are our options,
only for the soccer complex.
only for the soccer
We
complex.
can work,
Those acres right across the way.
we could work on that.
How can we make it the best and highest use we can possibly get out of it?
We can draft something. I will tell you, we put the ITQ out for the concessionaire. At the time that the bids were due, we did not receive any. We did get a late response, and the guy proposed 5% commission to the district, and he keeps 95%. But he was willing to negotiate. Honestly, at that point, I'd probably rather hire a part-time person and stick them over there Friday, Saturday, Sunday to
Well,
do it
and
ourselves.
Think about this too. And I think you might have even mentioned this, like with the Everblades. So they basically offer their concession services for organizations to come
Charities and
in
things, yeah.
and run, and they split that money. So one opportunity, I mean, it's going to be really hard for us to have expect
We don't
someone
have
to come in,
volume. Yeah.
for someone to come in and run it and then give us more than 50%. I mean, even that is very high. But there are organizations that would probably be happy to come in, run a concession stand.
PTO.
Well, I mean, I know of probably 4 off the top of my head that would love to come here and run it and then
Split.
and then give a 30% kickback to the district or whatever.
Especially if you're selling beer.
Split.
Yeah, do a split. Yeah.
But usually on those, you have to have somebody from the district that's there supervising everybody. I mean, they can get the volunteers to come and work for an hour selling hot dogs or selling the chips or taking the money or something like that. But it's our equipment that's going to be at
Yeah,
stake
you'd have to have-
over
you'd have to
there.
have somebody there
You have to have
supervising.
somebody
But it's up to them to
from the
buy-
district
they
that's
use-
going to
They use
supervise
the,
them.
they basically are leasing the space for that time period. They buy their food, they're responsible, we can determine what we're going to provide and what we're not. Like, I mean, everything from like napkins to napkin holders to whatever. But that's what I would want is they come in, they
We just gotta make
bring their own hot
forget-
dogs, they cook it, they sell it. At the end of the day, we look at the
We just
receipt.
gotta make
and
sure
they-
that
That
5 to
stand is
10%.
also going to be inspected by the health department. And it's our asses that are on the
Yeah,
line,
yeah, for sure.
not them, not
for
the
sure.
volunteers.
So I can go back to the one gentleman who showed interest. He was willing to negotiate a number, and I can see what we can do with that and come back to you as part of this comprehensive thing that Carol's mentioned. But yes, the idea was if this didn't work, coordinating, I know Carrie's already been in contact with Amber Jensen at the charter high school. They've got after-school clubs and stuff that would be monitored by teachers or parents or whatever it is to come in and do that kind of split. I know the elementary school is very active. I mean, if you know a handful of
I have 3 or 4.
that would be an opportunity there too. That concession stand is bare, like it is bare to the bones, because that was intentional, because I didn't know if it was a pizza guy coming in, if it's a hot dog guy coming in, if it's a popcorn guy, whatever, or if they're shuttling it in from a local restaurant. I mean, that's an opportunity as well. So if we can always put it back out to bid. I mean, that doesn't hurt either. So
Again, there's
I would like that. I think if it shows interest and we had somebody that approaches a little bit later, I'd say put it out there.
Okay.
You gotta have a manager, no doubt about it.
Right.
It's a lot more, trust me, I would much rather not be in the concession business. It's a lot easier to just, you're the vendor, you're responsible, you deal with Department of Health, you deal with everybody, that's your thing, just cut us a check.
Once we cover our costs, everything else in the way of risk goes to them. Everything. It's the only way it'll work.
Yep.
Because we're out there, we're guessing what this is going to generate on revenue, just absolutely guessing.
Okay.
Anything else?
So
So is staff, given holidays and everything else that are coming up, is that too much to ask for staff to do by that 15th meeting in
I think
January?
we've got
I'm here
most,
the next 2 weeks. I have a lot of it put together already. It'd just be combining the data in a different way, looking at it differently.
let me just recap. So that way everybody's on the same
This is our
page.
only December meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's,
But I'm off for 2 weeks at the end of December, so.
so
You guys are all.
Tony will work together on the notice of rule development. Tony and I work.
also a draft rule, and there are a number of examples out there for other CDDs that you
Okay.
can use as templates and work with Chelsea on that.
And then also for the fee schedule, I'll work with Premier Parking to come in and do a dog and pony show in January at your January 15th meeting.
That's the workshop meeting on January 15th, correct?
No,
No,
It would have to be.
No.
workshop's the first meeting.
it would be at the regular meeting.
Regular meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
January 15th is our only January meeting.
Right.
Right.
So they would just come in as part of the regular meeting.
Yep.
Working on putting together based on the FY26 numbers.
Well, wait a minute, why couldn't we have a workshop at 2 o'clock?
You already have a workshop scheduled at 2 o'clock and that's for the pond standards.
Okay,
We have a
That's
workshop on the
important.
15th, but it's for
Yes.
pond standards.
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
We'll work on total numbers of potential revenue for the concessionaire, hopefully talking to that gentleman who came in late, seeing what split we could do. The leagues, parking, and then
Conservative
conservative,
league
yes.
parking.
Yes, conservative. That's all I've got. Is there anything I missed?
And I would certainly differentiate between operating and capital. Because operating, we can talk about numbers that are factual. Capital, we got risk all over the place on capital.
We will,
Well, if we can't cut the nut on the operating, we won't be investing in the capital.
Well, and my point is, they need to know that. That
Absolutely.
means you're going to be,
Absolutely.
you're going to be working on a field that's going to be dirt, and you're not going to have lights. That's not what it
Absolutely.
boils down to.
well, and to Doug's point, if that doesn't work, we've kind of briefly talked about this, we could bid the whole thing out as a managed service. We could take it in-house,
You mean to an outside vendor that would
manage the whole thing.
manage the whole thing? They
Or-
take the risk, they do the whole thing.
Yep, or take it in-house. So there's
That would
lots
be through,
of,
what, a lease?
No, basically be an operation agreement. You basically request proposals, or, to solicit proposals.
That would tell you pretty quick
To
the
operate,
value.
to operate the facility.
Somebody willing to bid on it.
That'll get your answer real quick.
Man-
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
man-
whether you got something. or
Yeah,
not.
manage, operate, investments, the whole 9 yards. all
I
that.
think that'll be your top number is what that's going to be. Okay. Anything else?
I have nothing else. Laura, did you have anything else?
Look at it.
I
So
anticipated
then
what
the
they were gonna
15th and the
ask.
regular meeting will resume.
Right.
Okay.
We got
Anything else?
Still some homework to do.
Adjourn the workshop and we'll meet back. Want to take a quick break?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5-minute break. We'll start at 3:05.
Mute us. I'm muting us for anybody online listening.
donuts in that,
That's
it's
the coffee. I
coffee.
was just talking to your attorney. Yes.
We're all un-
You sniffed it out. I know it.
we're all unmuted and recording whenever you're ready.
We ready?
Yep.
That
I'll
are
get up.
available for disability. So our
Ready,
premiums are
Doug?
predicated upon, anyways.
Let's call the meeting,
Yep.
December 4th to order, pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, let the record show that Bob, Carol, Doug, and Ed are here, and Flavia is remote.
Hey, well, again.
Motion, a motion to allow Flavia to fully participate
I
in the
so
meeting.
moved.
On the exceptional
Is there a
circumstances.
second? All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm less exceptional.
Thank you.
Okay, I was gonna say, are you on? Okay. Approval of final agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public comment.
I have two.
We
Both-
only have to.
The only two people who are here.
100%.
And they're both non-agenda items. And just a reminder that you get 3 minutes, and please announce your name when you get to the podium, and I will start the clock after you state your name. First up, because he gave me his slip first, is our friend Marty Mantenfeld regarding the pool.
Otherwise known as Bridger.
Bridger, yes. Affectionately known as Bridger.
Bridges.
So Marty Mantenfeld from Monticello and Pelican Preserve. So I got to use my pool pass today. Thank you very much, because now I pay my non-ad valorem taxes regarding the Parks and Recreation. So I went over and checked out the pool, and believe it or not, it was nicer than I thought. So I've been to a lot of these meetings where you're talking about spending a lot of money on resurfacing a pool deck. And I looked at the pool deck and I'm asking myself, why? You must have a lot of money burning a hole in your pocket that you want to spend, because there's nothing wrong with that pool deck. Okay? Where you need to spend some money is there are 6 paved parking spaces outside that pool. 6. That's it. Otherwise, you're going around the other, the curb, and you're parking on the dirt. And there's construction all over the place there. It's a mess. So you need to spend some money on parking. But the pool was nice. I liked it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Now, there's 2 Pelican people with pool passes, me and Marty.
There you go.
But have you
You
used
have a
yours?
pool pass?
I've had one.
He swims at night.
Next up,
I
we
was gonna
have,
say,
No, I just go to watch. I just go to.
I'm trying to get a visual here.
Let's don't say we did.
I got a speedo,
James
Carol.
Wilkins regarding irrigation.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, James Wilkins I'm the president of the HOA for Matarita 2. On October the 28th, 2025, an irrigation leak was identified on Citrella Drive across from the lift station within a common area. The Greenscapes irrigation team responded by shutting off the reclaimed water supply, determining that the leak originated at the water meter. I promptly notified the Gateway Emergency Line and informed Mark Eversman, head of the Landscape Advisory Committee, about the situation. Unfortunately, I was unable to secure an immediate inspection of the meter. The Greenscapes irrigation team proceeded to remove water from both the meter box and the irrigation box. They conducted a thorough inspection of all the components within the irrigation system and concluded that the leak was caused by a faulty expander connection. The Vice President of Greenscapes irrigation team reached out to Bill Shaw, Utilities Director of Gateway. Mr. Shaw inspected the meter and tightened the expander connections accordingly. Chelsea O'Reilly, District Manager for Gateway, later confirmed via email that the leak has been repaired and stated that further inspections would be conducted to ensure the issue had been fully resolved. I respectfully request that the CSCDD reimburse Matarita 2 for the expenses incurred in addressing this issue involving a non-HOA equipment. Additionally, I seek clarification regarding the appropriate procedures for reporting similar issues in the future.
How much are you looking for?
The invoice I received was $1,280.
Was the leak on our side of the meter or your side?
Yes, sir, it was on your side. It was the connector on the meter itself.
Is that true?
I'll have to get with Bill Shaw and let you
He's
know.
online, so he should be here.
Let me grab Bill.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's on our side, I don't understand why you would have had an expense.
I agree.
To be honest with you, because I could not get any from Gateway to come out and do the inspection.
And do you know, what's the time frame of that?
October, the 28th is when it started.
And then when did you call Greenscapes?
Greenscapes was the one that found the irrigation leak, and being who they are, they turned off the water because it was running across the sidewalk and into the gutter.
I have
At
a
that point,
question.
At that point, they looked and said, this leak is definitely coming from the meter section, 2 separate boxes, one irrigation, 1 meter.
I have a question, and I think that's what Chelsea's gonna get to, and if it's not, correct me. So if the meter, if the leak was found on the 28th, when was the GSCDD contacted? After the repair from your company or before?
It was done prior to us doing any work other than the initial inspection.
Okay, so
Once they
again,
once they
so
determined.
my question is really, was the repair made because there was a lack of communication or a lack of response by the district? Because that's a separate issue that I would like to address. But I don't want it to be like, our vendor went and checked it and noticed it was the district, we told them to fix it, and now we want to have reimbursed, because that's a different story. Not saying that we wouldn't pay that, but I just want to make sure that there was no lack of response from staff to this issue.
I'm kind of a blunt individual. I say things the way they are. I called the emergency line, and when I got a call from the guy, he said, we don't have anything in that area, nothing. That's when I reached out to Mark. Mark got hold of Ameriscape. Their response was that water was caused by extra irrigation for the new plantings that they put in. I could not get anybody to go and look at that meter.
What date did you contact Greenscape?
Greenscapes was on the 28th when they contacted me.
Okay, and you called Gateway the same day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we
that's
received.
what I'm saying. We have no time to do anything, right?
Again, I was told by a Gateway employee that they had nothing in that area. It was not on their map.
So it wasn't our asset.
It is your asset.
No, somebody thought that it
Exactly.
was not.
Again, there's a map out there that we all are working through to find out who owns what, who's responsible. for
Who
what.
at Gateway specifically? Because if you called the emergency number, it would have gone to a district staff member. But if you contact Mark Eversman, which is a volunteer.
I called the emergency line first.
Okay.
And she contacted a gentleman. He was very quick. I did not get his name, and pretty much said, got nothing in that area, and hung up the phone.
Well, we knew who worked that day. We knew who was on the line, responsible, right?
Depends when they called.
Yeah, it depends on what time they called. If
Yeah.
it was during.
Was it during
It was
regular
early
business?
morning. It was sometime in the morning, if I
During,
remember.
like, during our.
Tuesday
Oh,
morning.
absolutely.
Okay.
Tuesday.
Tuesday morning.
Absolutely.
I know when I had this,
I see that Bill is here. Could we ask Bill about? Okay. Okay,
Well, the other
give you a few more
thing,
minutes.
Jim,
You went over and tightened the connector.
Matarita is on our irrigation system.
Yes.
Yeah,
part
that's
of
what I
it, yeah,
thought.
this one is. But if this was in Eversman's bailiwick, with something to do with landscaping, I think I heard Ed was turned on, it should just be a landscaping meeting and P-PAC will handle it. It's not that big a deal.
Well,
Again, it's my understanding that the meter and the connection is owned by Gateway.
the meter is Gateway's meter, but who pays the usage of that is the PPCA. Now, the timeline, I mean, we can do, to your point, if he wants to pursue it through, if you guys want to push it back through PPAC and the landscape subcommittee.
I attended that meeting already.
What did they tell you?
I was pretty much told to come to this meeting.
I just want to make sure that if we were wrong and told them that it's not ours and it was ours, then we have an exposure.
Then it's ours, yeah.
We have an exposure. If we need to know the answer to that
Yeah.
because
Is there a paragraph
I thought
there?
everybody knew
If
that
Bill can
Matarita.
get to that determination, that it was on our side,
Okay,
then
so
it's easy.
can we reconvene this at the end of the meeting, give Bill
Yeah.
the opportunity? We'll bring it back up during supervisor comments.
It's fine.
Okay, James,
fine.
give
That
us
gives
a
Bill
little bit
some
of
time.
time.
What day of the week is the 28th?
Tuesday,
Paragraph.
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Anybody online?
no other public comments.
No other public comment.
Okey-doke. Any local achievements or recognitions?
Guys, can you take it to the,
Bill?
can you guys take it to the outside, please? Thank you. I don't have any immediate local achievements and recognitions.
Okey-doke. Any advisory committee items and reports? The only thing I saw was there was a report from the pond committee that was in the agenda package.
It's their agenda for this coming Monday.
Right, sorry, not in the agenda package, on the website, that there was a PPAC meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Approval of minutes, October 16th meeting. Is there any
moved.
additions, corrections?
None.
None? Got a motion?
So
Do we have a
moved.
second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Consent agenda items, we have two, A and B. One's the bond disbursement, and the other one is for the sustainability plan for the, is that correct? FY 22
Yes,
lakes?
yes, it is. And I am so
When
glad
I
to finally
first
get
read it, I
this
thought it was a
done.
typo.
Very timely.
Yes, this was something that I chased around back in 2023 before she started trying to get signatures to get these ponds done, and they sat until this year.
So it was correct then, okay.
Yes,
Is there?
that is 100% correct.
There is a motion to approve the consent agenda items A and B. Carol?
Yes.
Second? Bob? I'll second. All, being a wise guy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We got
Well,
district
thank you.
engineer today?
Nope.
Nothing with Stephen. I do have an issue with district engineer relative to ponds. Had a meeting today with the country club superintendent on our favorite pond 22. Is it 122 or 120? 122. 122 at the back of the driving range. Has the manager of the club worked with you yet on that?
No.
He's
I
supposed to be
call-
contacting you because somehow he had something, and I don't know who he would have gotten it from, was that, which I would agree with, that we have a joint deal to where they use Tetra Tech also, which was what we were talking about. Since that pond has lake bank issues, it's got to be a joint project. Because there'll certainly be some joint expenses on it, because they got damages that were created as a result of their
So,
failing. But I went out and looked at it and took some measurements. And to get a 4-to-1 slope on that deal, that whole back into the driving range to the tune of about 30 feet has to go out. In other words, you can't make the 4-to-1 slope. The only way you could do it would be to put some type of a wall, retaining wall at the bottom and start the slope.
Golf course want to do that?
No, golf course, then you got to do that. No way.
No way.
But the issue is that was a pond we were going to be doing work on, and we needed to do work on, but the situation has been made worse as a result of their erosion issues. And I wanted to find out, guys, I go by it every day to go out in the range, and nothing's happening. Who's doing what? I'd suggested to Chelsea that we get Tetra Tech in and let them retain Tetra Tech to work on their issues associated with this pond bank.
Yeah, I'd
And
like
then-
to take a look at it.
Tetra
I'd
Tech's
like to look
working
at
on
that.
our side.
I would like to look at it. Is it where they're driving from, or is it where the balls are going to?
two.
So it's on the opposite end. Are there homes behind it?
No, it's a
Pond's
pond
across
and
the
then a
lake.
road. It's,
This is a pond that's not been touched yet.
I can show you where it's at on the
Okay,
map.
I would like to have
So
a,
to answer your question, I know Paul had a meeting with Rich and Matt, just discussing like
May have been who
the
it was,
future restoration and how they could be impacted with the 21 ponds we have in design right now.
Right.
I did send an email to Matt and Rich this afternoon and asked what their plan was. And if there was no plan, then the plan on the Gateway side is to contact code enforcement, because their drainage is causing issues into our pond and erosion and rills. And the last thing I want is a bad note from South Florida Water Management District. So I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Well, let me bring up an issue, because this gets to one, Tony, you're going to get involved. Okay. The LME is insufficient to do the work necessary to return the pond to original conditions.
Is it the width or or where it's located?
I'm sorry?
Is it the width of it or where it's located relative?
Well, the LME is 20 feet.
We haven't
That particular-
gotten confirmation from Tetra Tech, but by math, it appears.
By my calculations, the drop off from the pond at control elevation go up to be level with the ground at the golf course is at least 8 feet, okay? So to return that to a 4-to-1 slope, you got to go back a minimum of 32 feet. You are well outside the LME to be able to make it happen.
Landward, in other words, you're well outside and you're landward, in other words.
Then you're on the golf course.
So you're outside, okay.
My question is, how does Tetra Tech do a project that is going to necessitate going onto land that we don't own?
We don't. We get a DO amendment to change the 4-to-1 slope to a different slope. Hopefully getting.
That's not smart. This is dangerous over there as it is. If you go 8 feet and 20 feet, you aren't close to 4-to-1. You're going to be about like 2.5 to 1. 2.5 to 1 is how many millions of dollars have we spent fixing 2.5 to 1?
Well, I guess the question is, the 4-to-1, is that a South Florida requirement? Because even if it's a Lee County requirement and you can get a DO amendment to Lee County, you still need to get a South Florida modification. If what I'm hearing is that there's a request for DO modification, that's Lee County. But if South Florida, what's the slope requirement there?
But who's responsible to get, if our staff, let's forget the erosion and the issues that led to the erosion. If we're in there fixing it, which we're doing, that's one of the jobs, one of the projects that Tetra Tech's doing, and they're trying to meet the requirements like they are doing on all the other ponds to achieve the 4-to-1 where we go back and, the whole story. You physically can't do it on this pond. There's no room. What do you do?
I'm trying to visualize that. I don't have the graphics.
But why don't we do this? Because this is catching everybody else other than you and I by blinded. Let me send the address to everybody so they can go look at it with the aerials.
Well, the issue is that's not going to change anything. The issue is the district.
It might change.
Well, no, what they need, Bob, is and they're not hearing. They need an engineer. They've hired one contractor that came in and gave them an exorbitant price to fix it. And that was with no plans, no nothing, no county approval, which we can't do.
What's the negative to putting a grader in there and making it 4-to-1?
Absolutely nothing, other than the fact that we're not on our property.
Well, but we're going to
That's why.
form to the 4-to-1.
See, that's why I suggested that if we have Tetra Tech go in, do the job, then they let both us and the owner know, the club, what needs to be done. Then we just have a discussion of how the payment's going to be made.
Why do we want to fix a golf course?
It's one of our ponds, so it's our
I understand
pond to
that.
fix.
Our responsibility is to get to 4-to-1. If the fairway gets a little narrower, that's someone else's interest.
It's not the fairway, it's the driving range.
Okay,
The
less
issue is-
important.
The issue is that somehow, some way, we got to work together. There's going to be a discussion about who pays for what. My issue is how do you legally go beyond your LME
Couple things
to do the work?
What's important, a couple things. One is, I'm not aware of a per se conflict if the golf course was to retain Tetra Tech to help them do the engineering work
At no cost to
on their
us.
property. So, I don't see that being an issue. It's sort of complementary.
Okay, that's what I think needs to be done.
But then there's a second piece to it, to the extent that there are either operational, design, or functional issues with the golf course runoff that's causing the erosion. And that's what Chelsea, I think, is referencing, that's something. Then why would the district want to pay to remediate a situation
Right.
caused by the
That's
golf
right.
course?
And I've told
Okay.
the club that, guys, the fix of this is easy. It's easy. It's very simple to do. The issue is you still haven't solved the problem of the water that caused the problem to begin with. You're going to have and you're going to have to pay either to have that area raised and you run the water a different direction, which really is not possible, or you're going to have to put in some type of an inlet system that takes the water and takes it down to the lake.
A trough.
Yeah. But my point was that if Tetra Tech's doing this work, it'd be best if they do the whole thing, and then
And again,
and the club works with us.
I would suggest that the district could, have a task authorization for the district's piece. And if the club wants to hire Tetra Tech to do the design piece on their property and work as to what they need to do. I don't see an issue with that.
Right now,
That's up to Tetra Tech. Does Chelsea have any problem with that?
My opinion is right now, after hearing it today, is they need a little kick in the back side, because right now, we talked about this a month ago and nothing
So
has
Ed-
happened,
Ed-
except the erosion's gotten worse.
Ed,
think- but
that
you
was
know-
the point to my email I sent today in getting county code enforcement involved. That is the fire. That is under their tail. So
And I appreciate Chelsea doing that, because the incentive is, otherwise, as you mentioned, we do not need a knock on the door from an agency that has
If we got that,
headquarters.
if we got that
that has-
letter out,
that
perhaps
has-
that'll get them moving then.
Yeah, I would like to go see it too.
I'll
And if the
send-
water's coming from the golf course, that's one thing. If it's coming from erosion of the pond or the flowway, I don't know if they got littorals there or anything, so I need to look
I'll
at it.
send to everybody tomorrow the location of this pond in the event. Hopefully Gateway Greens will be gracious enough to make sure you bring your driver's license and let you in to go look at it.
There-
And if I come over, lunch is on Ed.
We haven't talked about the parking fee or the other fees that.
That was actually 3 points. like
Make sure you
Okay.
go the speed
We'll
limit,
do
and
that.
if you go, you
Okay.
need to say you're going to Ed
Yeah.
Tinkle's house if you're speeding.
Yeah.
Okay, I shortchanged.
Yeah,
It was
don't
actually 3
speed.
point- that was 3
Okay,
points.
well, I just want to make sure that was
You can
taken
send it to
care
me
of with
also.
our.
And that is pond 22, but it's called the driving range, pond 120.
The north end of the driving range, pond 122. Half of it's the golf course, half of it's homes. Okay, no.
For not having district engineer, that was a lot.
Administrative agenda items, admin building furniture selection.
Okay, so,
I didn't see any difference in the furniture.
well, staff recommendation, honestly, is to go with Workscapes. They've been a lot more engaged.
Can we pull it up so we?
Yeah. So our budget's 100,000. You guys gave that to us.
They came well under
Is
it.
that what we had budgeted?
Yes.
They were $1
$100,000?
under it.
I know, it's great. What?
We had 100,000
Yes.
budgeted,
Yes.
and it looked like both of them came in at 99,000.
Well, and
The luck of the draw.
apples
What a
to
great estimate.
apples comparison, right? So, from a staff perspective, we like Workscapes that we can piggyback a Sourcewell contract or state contract to get this pricing. But in order to secure and lock in this pricing, we have to get this order in by the end of the year. So that's why we're bringing it to you now.
This going through the counties,
The state.
the state.
States, yep. We have spent over a year on this.
Yes.
If you have, now colors, we can change colors, it's not a big deal, but generally speaking, this is all of the furnishings for the proposed admin building. We tried to.
All the rooms.
Yes, all the rooms, boardroom, chairs, furnishings, desks, the whole shebang.
So they're not asking for color at this point in time, just the material?
We'll iron out the color exactly, but for the most part, we gave them our color palette that you guys adopted, and this is what they've proposed. I personally like it. I think it's light. It'll go with all of the colors that we have.
If we change our color scheme in the future, this is very flexible, so.
The only thing I saw on the whole thing, and maybe somebody else caught it, is why so many chairs in the new conference room or in the big room?
For all the people that we have attend all of these meetings. No, well,
Just,
It doesn't look like we need more than
there's
two.
just.
Oh, you mean on the dais?
Yeah, on the dais. Why is it so big?
because we have some committees that have 7 members. And so we have to accommodate the 7 members plus staff in order to,
I think even right here, you've got 8.
We've got
So-
our 5, and then there's 2 addition and then 2 more. So if we have,
Nine to me
staff
is
or,
plenty.
yeah.
Five
I mean, I
of
don't
them.
mind the size. I'd much rather.
I
if
just
we got-
didn't understand that.
Yeah, if we have a space or 2, I mean,
well, and keep in mind, if we rent this out to an HOA, I mean, we rent this space out to HOAs, and I know that they pull in chairs and they're sitting elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we can always put the extra chairs in the storage closet, but I'd rather have them and not need them than need
And
them and not
sometimes when we
them.
have those presentations here, like when Lee Health comes to do there's nowhere to
saw.
sit, the room is packed.
I
So-
learned the hard way building a $5 million building for our office about 25, 30, 40 years ago and
enough
doing
storage.
this. Unless you sit down, and then these guys are professionals, I hope they've done it. Make sure you aren't putting a round peg in a square hole. In other words, you're buying more furniture than you can fit in the room. Has somebody done that?
We
Because
gave,
I saw a lot of furniture in some of those little small rooms, like, I don't know how they're going to get in to even get in their chair.
no, we gave them the DWG file, the architectural plan set, so they went in and
They've done
measured.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
And then each office, again, this is staff and accommodating them, asked what they would like in their office. So like for me, I don't necessarily need the whole hutch. I don't like all the paper. So each person has given their specifics so that way they can make it their own space.
We gave everybody like, this is the most you can have, and then if
Take away.
people could take away from that.
Well, the office space should be representative of the role,
Mhm.
and what the role needs.
Exactly.
So as long as
Right.
that's been considered, we're not really, I mean, I don't want to sound bad, but we're not outfitting for the person, we're outfitting for the office. for the
Correct.
function
If you
of
have
the-
like the utility people and the public works people, they're gonna have access to plans and that type of
One
stuff.
thing
They
that I
need more
would,
room.
one thing that I would love to see, not necessarily in the boardroom, but somewhere, is we've got a lot of maps. I would love, and I was trying to look for some of these online,
Photos?
but you know how if you're in Lowe's and you have like the carpet
Oh, yeah, the rack.
thing? Yeah,
Just slide
you've
them
seen them in
around.
some of the
Yeah,
architecture.
you can buy those in engineering companies.
Yeah, engineering companies. I would love to be able to have a nice area we can pull back maps and be able to look at things. And in the future, we'll just have a big screen where we can just pull everything on
Or
GIS.
have them
but-
on a rack that you can pull off the rack and lay on a table.
Yeah, well, however it
Either
is,
or.
I'm just saying that we do a lot with maps.
Yeah.
I'd love for someplace where we can not just have 3, but we should have 20 that we can choose
Bob,
from.
any questions you have on this or the?
No, it looked pretty professional.
What's
and
the
good.
quality of this furniture?
They,
This
so
isn't the laminate that when you walk by and catch your pants on it, it rips off a 8-foot piece of,
no, we did tell them the chairs, we wanted to get the higher grade stuff on because that's where everybody sits, especially office and at the dais as well and at conference rooms. So,
They brought us chairs that we had for like a couple of months. We rotated them around through staff. We each got to sit on it for a few days to see how it was, before we picked.
the last one I had,
Are these chairs designed for guys? Or are they designed for short little squatty ladies also?
I hope
They're
not.
designed for the average
we have any of
person.
the.
average
The
person.
average- No. So it's not designed for me.
With the
Okay.
desks, are
I'm gonna
all
have to
these-
get my
are all
pillow.
these stationary desks, or are they?
They're all raised.
They're all raised.
The whole L
Perfect.
doesn't
Yeah.
just one part,
With,
one,
what did we learn?
a modesty panel.
A modesty panel.
So like if
Oh,
you're,
how's that?
so when you wear your skirt to work, that way
We don't
it's
want-
covered,
yeah.
so. Or if you want to sit barefoot, people can't
We
see it.
usually wear long pants, so what?
Well,
Okay.
others may want a modesty skirt.
Is
another question.
Flavia going to get a chair? I mean, she get a couple.
I knew it was coming.
What did she say?
She knew it was
I
coming.
didn't say anything.
What are we doing with all the furniture? Is everything over at the
Selling.
other off?
Auctioning it.
We're gonna auction it
Yeah.
off.
We're gonna recoup.
My last question is, this is all furniture. There's a whole technology side, what monitors, TV displays?
I'll adjust that.
Okay, all right,
Um,
perfect.
I have had multiple discussions with Genope as well as Harmon, who's going to be doing all of our AV work. I haven't seen the final plans yet for the actual dais, and we talked about TVs, like where are they going to go? We think we know where they're going to go, but we don't know for sure if they're going to fit there or what size we need. And Harmon's recommendation, because that technology is so inexpensive, wait until the space is built. We have an idea now. There are plans, like we're planning to put a TV here and we're planning to put a TV here. Once we get in there, that may not actually
The
work once the
dais
space
design
is.
is in here.
Yeah,
in the
but
book,
that's,
in the
that's, we have
book.
to figure out, I know that everybody will have
Make it a
I
power.
can see a place to where you're gonna put the computer.
Yeah, we have, everybody will have power, everybody will have a spot. These are not going to be tall. The only discussion we're having now is, are we going to provide other monitors, or because you guys all have iPads, are we just going to have a place for you to do that?
So what I was talking about is like, even in the office spaces, are we doing dual monitors for everyone?
Yes,
Okay,
yep.
dual
Standard.
monitors.
Yeah, that's
and-
standard.
Okay.
And
Everybody has that now. so-
Laura took inventory of all of our technology a year or so ago, and she's been slowly transitioning out, working with Genope on anything that's antiquated, getting new stuff in, new technology. Those like Austin, myself, who need a beefed up laptop because we open so many plans and maps and large files. So
I'm not worried about that. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking like the office space.
Same
Dual
thing with the
monitors,
conference room.
whiteboards.
Same thing.
Yes.
Big TV screens in the conference
Yep.
rooms.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that we're within budget.
Yes.
on this
Yes.
deal
That's
here.
perfect.
Yes.
Did you
I have a
guys
separate
have our
budget for
budget
that.
number?
Huh?
It's amazing. The budget was 100,000 and everybody came in at 900 or
99,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? A
No.
motion to approve authorizing staff to initiate the purchase of the new building furniture.
So moved.
Second that.
Workscapes.
From Workscapes.
From Workspace, thank
From
you.
Workspace.
In the amount of 99
Not to
to
exceed 100,000.
8624. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed? Thank you.
Hey, can I just ask one question on that? So have you guys thought about art, like artwork or any other decor for the space?
Not until, well, the walls are up, but not until we get closer to being in the building. I have some ideas, but
Well, one of the things that I would like to see is
local,
local,
yes.
you know,
We're on the
even
same-
some historical stuff
Yep.
of Gateway, some nice black and whites or.
One of the things that we had done at the beach, which I thought was really cool, which I thought we could entertain here, is a mural, some type of mural of Gateway. Like at the beach, we had the arches behind the dais.
We
But
could have a 1986 photo of the property here, and then we could have a 2026.
yeah, can you've got you've got the
Before and
photo, right?
after.
You've got both photos that you can give us?
I think I can find one.
Bobby, you've got Pelican Preserve, you
Well,
can
we
give
can put the
us.
broccoli on the mural.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Anything else? Okay. Item B, discovered
I just have
irrigation meter
one-
connection in Hampton Park. What the heck
Hang on.
happened here?
Flavia, I think Flavia had a question.
I just want to open this, just since we're in the building. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, because honestly, my days are kind of running on top of each other, but I was on site visiting the building with Chelsea. And I think it would have been nice for, the board members to take 10-15 minutes to just go in there and kind of feel it. I will say this, there were some cons and some pros. Like, there was a few rooms that I thought was extremely small when I was there. And I remember one was all on paper and I'm like, oh, this is too big, we can trim it down. But I think it'll be a good opportunity for, you guys to go visit and kind of like have Chelsea walk through what's what in that building. I thought it was beneficial for me. It was eye opener as well for
If you'd like
submissions.
to, I'm here, so, I mean,
Go and take a look.
yeah, just call me and we can schedule a time and go take a peek at it.
This is
Because the
good.
last time you said you didn't want us wandering around loosely.
Yes, there.
I mean,
it's an
what-
act-
what-
it's an
and
active
I'll-
construction site, so.
It's
I'll be
changed
honest
a
with
lot
you.
since the last month and
Yeah.
a half.
And Chelsea, like I mentioned, the EOC room, like that room that you're gonna have your meetings. And I just looking at the picture, I just want to make sure that you will have enough room for people to walk behind chairs, because that table looked really big and that room is very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I brought up that question about furniture. I've learned my lesson the hard way on that.
I literally, when I was with Chelsea in that room, I was like, this is the room. And I was taking steps. I'm like, okay, here's a chair, here's a table. There is hardly any space. So,
Which conference room is it?
We have the EOC room, which is the hardened room in the
Three
event.
conference
they're both
rooms in
they're
there.
both the same size. They're literally all you're gonna get is one table and chairs on both sides, and you may get a foot maybe until you hit the wall.
Call me if you guys want to go take a gander. Okay. Flavia, was that it? Is that all you had?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, back to the Hampton Park discovered meter.
So this is for information purposes only. As part of our wonderful meter box project, we discovered an old meter, a master meter, not a master meter like a master meter community, but the brand master meter, which is from 2000, I don't even know, 13, 11. Ed, you can probably speak better to this, but similar to what we had over in Timber Ridge. Remember how we found a meter?
I was just going to say.
So we don't know the usage. We don't know if they ever paid connection fees. There's a lot of assumptions, but this is just one of the things that has come out of the meter box replacement project. We've contacted the HOA and told them that they have to submit a new application. Again, we're assuming they paid connection fees. We're assuming because it was one of the district's old meters in the system. There's a lot of assumptions, but they could have potentially been getting free water for all of these years. But we just
When they did a wet check for all these years.
This is the HOA, Hampton Park HOA.
Yeah, when they do a wet check for their common areas for all their irrigation, where in the hell did they think the water was coming from?
Oh, Ed, like anybody who call and say, hey, you're not billing me.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
Jeez.
The provider of the water will find you.
I would think that the association, when they're doing the wet check, would be checking the areas, zones, and know what meter it comes off of. Because if you have a leak, Or if you have a large usage,
To Flavia's point, they're not going to complain on something they're not getting billed on. So anyway,
so was there any reading of the meter at all? Had it been used?
we don't know because we don't know what the prior read was. Since we've
But it wasn't
replaced.
zero.
No, it wasn't zero. No.
It was 99,000 or something?
Yeah. So since then, we've put a new meter in and told them they need to fill out an account. We'll know if there was usage, but
And it's a 5/8.
yeah.
So it's got to be a minimum zone.
So this is just FYI, we found this. No action other than they need to fill out the account. Otherwise, we'll take the meter out and they won't have any water. So, all right. Any questions for that?
Any questions? on
I
that?
do. So would we be doing a connection fee plus an average use for like last 5 years, or what is I just want to hear from the board, like what are we thinking?
I say forget about it.
Just do the connection fee then?
What did we do?
Just like how we did it with
What did we
Timber
do at
Creek?
Timber Ridge?
So
Timber Ridge
with
is connection fee.
Timber Ridge was the connection fee, but that's because it was directly tapped into the line. We didn't have a meter there. This one, there was a meter there. So I'm assuming at some point I'm assuming that we collected a connection fee because it was a master meter. And usage, Flavia, to your point, I've thought round and
Can't document it.
yeah.
Let's just move on.
It's a 5/8 inch meter. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I'm sure that when we get into the big 6,500 meter project, this won't be the only one. Next item, overview of the boardroom layout. This has to do with the dais.
Yep. So you guys.
I was kind of confused by those two, the plan view didn't bother me, other than I didn't understand why so many, but the section views, if you look at the very bottom one there, Doug, this goes to what you were asking. It looks like the desk is going to be very similar to this type of a setup, but if
laminate, it will be laminate.
well, I don't mean that. I mean the physical nature of it. We go take that on up, Laura. The picture to the section. Yeah, there you go. See where the tabletop is. If we have a what do you call it? Monitor
Trying to get over there.
like this one on that, it's going to be just like we have now. It's blocking the view because the
Rather than
tabletop
recessed,
is not
recessed.
it's not recessed. So I've got concern on that.
And what is are there dividers on here?
No, that's the brackets to hold it up.
Okay, all right, so there is no dividers.
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I thought that we had said all along, these were going to come down so that Carol
This-
could see out.
I mean, ideally, we would have them either on an angle or
Or have the table lower.
A little recess, yeah,
or
well,
or
Well,
recess.
and listen, this hasn't been constructed yet. We can adjust it if we want.
I think our preference
You know,
is,
those ones
this
where you
is
have a
right,
slot.
right, a little slope down.
Yeah, a little sloped action, so you can look out and not have to look up over to see anybody in the first row.
Yep.
I paid attention. I was at the Board of County Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, because we're getting more money. And I was kind of watching like theirs are tilted. They only stick up about as far as this does for us, and they can
That's
see
the
over.
way it
Like
should.
Want
this
to make
is
sure we
really
got
bad
that
for
covered
me.
because we've
Hold
talked
on.
about it, and this
Yeah.
view here does not looks like to me it's going to set just like it does
No,
right now.
my intent is for you to be able to see clearly over it. This is not how the new one is going to look. I can guarantee that.
All right. Any other questions about the boardroom?
no,
No.
let's just be very mindful of that. That's probably one of the most important pieces to
Yes.
us, and I think we do need to think about whether we're going to have displays. Not everyone does, but it is nice. So.
We talked about where they go, do they sit in, but then if they're in, then if you bring your own device, then you cover
There's
it.
got to
And
be
so
best
there's
practices
a lot
already
to-
out there.
Yeah.
Just as long as they know that, because that picture does not look like it anticipates a recess. It isn't there.
We've given them the intent.
Okay. Okay, no. District manager.
Yep, I
items?
just have a couple items. You all asked at the last meeting for a joint meeting with PrAC, and we think we've got that secured for your February 19th meeting at 2 p.m. So you will have a workshop at 2 p.m. On February 19th. That will be the joint session with PrAC. To Laura's point that she just briefly mentioned, Garrett FM was constructed. They paid additional park impact fees. And so Laura attended the BOCC meeting on Tuesday, and we requested the remaining park impact fees that the county is holding on our behalf to use towards the project.
It was $115,000.
So, and then of course, if KOP Lawn or North Haven or Daniels Parkway Apartments ever is constructed, we'll have additional park impact fees for those projects. So
What did they say?
Yes.
they approved
Oh.
it.
Yeah, it was
Very
on a,
good.
it was on a consent. I went just in case they pulled it, if I had to answer any questions, and they didn't pull it.
It's a reimbursement.
How much is it per unit?
I don't know.
What-
I know the total was 115,000.
Well, we get 250 units in that
256 units.
down there, so that's $4,000 a unit.
I'll have to go look and see what their
Man,
impact fees are.
that's salty. That's good. Okay, go get some more buildings. Going on.
I don't have anything else.
One thing, I know we had talked about this at the last board meeting, at the very end, when we were talking about the Commons Park area and the area that would end up being undeveloped, but we would use as free grass space. And I brought up that I think we should change the grass type to something that's going to be a little bit more like a, something a little flatter, not so thick, so you can use it for multi-purposes. I think everyone agreed that was okay because it wasn't going to be a big cost difference. Do we need to vote on that?
I would prefer
okay.
you vote on that because, well, there's already going to be a change order cost with OAK to irrigate whatever you choose if it's not Bahia, which we already know that you guys did not want Bahia. But if you choose to do Bermuda, Palmetto, Florida, whatever it is.
So I don't know exactly what's the best grass to use, but
The non-invasive.
I would
or the
like
non-
something that, is almost like the grass that we use over here.
Zoysia would be what you
Or,
probably want to go with.
something that's not going to be thick, but
What-
not too hard to maintain either.
Whatever you
And
choose,
resistant to
Yeah.
VMS.
Right.
whatever. So Palmetto is what we've been told to move forward with. If you change that,
Palmetto is a thicker grass,
Yes.
St. Augustine. If you would go with either a Bermuda or you go with Zoysia, then you're talking about like a golf course
Yeah,
fairway
yeah.
type
whatever
grass.
you choose, we have to make sure they're not directly abutting them. Like there needs to be a sidewalk or something in between
Because you don't
them.
want them to cross grow.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine. So what do you recommend, Ed? Either a Zoysia or?
Well, Zoysia is resistant to the
So
VMS.
let's say Zoysia then.
Or just where like the pavilion is supposed to be,
Back right corner.
the back
That whole
where that
right corner
pavilion
where
is.
it's undeveloped, but that's going to
Everything
be an open
else-
free.
Everything else is Palmetto like we've discussed.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with
Yeah,
that.
basically any common area that's not going to have any use.
So if you could have a motion, that would be great.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt a sod plan for the
Zoysia or equal.
Zoysia or its equivalent in the
Pavilion area.
pavilion free play area of the new park.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
All right, thank you. And then Winterfest, Paul gave you guys VIP parking. It is Saturday from 4 to 8. I know I'll be here from 4 to 6 at least. Probably be here a little bit earlier than that. But if you'd like to come, and I know Flavia is going to be there and she'll do a little speech, but if anybody else would like to come and do a little speech or at least participate in the event or see how big of this is our biggest event of the year. It's
The
definitely.
lighting is at what time in that interval? Is it at around 6 o'clock?
I think normally, yeah, hold on, I can tell you.
The one thing that I'll say, just be mindful, I know there's a plan here. Sometimes when we've had this event in the past, we've almost spread out in too much space. And it's sometimes it's better to kind of pull it in a little bit, to tighten it up. Because it just creates a better environment when you've got more of a crowd space and not so spread out. So just be mindful of that.
Do we have several food vendors?
Yes, we do.
Good.
That was the big thing. It seemed like we'd never have enough food vendors.
We never have enough food vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tree lighting's at 5:45 PM.
Good.
And we've got we've got lemonade, barbecue, burgers, snowballs, scoop me up,
Potatoes.
pizza,
The potatoes?
tamales, coffee,
Popcorn.
popcorn. not potatoes. Did I say potatoes?
No.
I asked if that guy that does the potatoes is there. Oh, shoot, that was good.
Who was that? What was the name of that? Do you remember?
I don't know what it was, but he makes all kinds of different, you can just get a regular baked potato with butter, sour cream, or you can get
Or,
one
yeah.
with chicken, or you can get one
Yeah,
with
yeah.
all kinds of
I can't remember the
stuff.
name of that place, but it is.
And they
good.
had, what do you call the ones that you deep fry, like fritters?
Yeah.
Like tater tots?
Tater tots. Yeah, you could get that. It was delicious.
Ed, you're getting into my area.
Where's the,
Did I mention
where's the
sugar?
concession?
Into my area.
Food, if it's
Okay,
food.
let's
yeah.
go on.
Where's the beer vendor?
Yeah,
Not
where's the
here,
burger?
but not this year. They didn't want to
I've
come
been
back.
saying that for 10 years.
We had it last
Who
year.
said, who's they?
We had it last year. The vendor did not,
Rotary did it last
the
year.
Rotary did it last year and it wasn't worth them coming back.
It's not Wisconsin.
That's a great revenue opportunity.
They were here last year and
You
you
could go
weren't.
directly to
You weren't
Parks.
here.
You don't card the
I won't be here
teenagers.
this year.
You can sell a lot of beer if you don't card the kids.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Tony, District Attorney.
Real briefly, we continue to try to pursue getting a resolution with Santa Luz, the attorney for Lennar. There's some sent Rob Cooper, who's the attorney for the Condominium Association, revised documents, the 20 minutes before our conference call that were not redlined in full extent. So I've sent her the Word document, formatted document. I'm waiting for it back. I've nudged her again, so hopefully we'll keep pushing on that to get that done. One thing that came up though was, I think, the question was, somebody planted some vegetation, I guess, in the LME, so we're not sure, but that may need to come out when they do the restorations. That was just part. Who planted it, whether it was Lennar or somebody else.
Nobody's claiming ownership of it.
The
Everybody's like, I didn't do
association
it, I didn't do it,
Yeah,
I
the
didn't do
association
it.
said they
so.
did not, but we'll get through it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's good working with Rob Cooper, the attorney for the association. What I'd like to have also is the authorization to publish notice of rule development with regards to parking regulations, parking areas, designating district parking areas. If I can have that approval from the board.
So moved.
I'll second.
Aye.
Thank you. So I'll initiate that and work with Chelsea on the draft document to have for the board for review at the January 15th meeting. And no, just other routine matters, working with staff on it.
Okay, Tony, I have a question for you. At the end of our last meeting, Bob made a motion about you were going to craft a letter that that is going to be sent to the city of Fort Myers, saying that we are going to cooperate in meetings concerning possible transfer or acquirement of assets by the Pelican Preserve Homeowners Association.
Yes.
Has that been
Well, I
drafted?
drafted a letter and under Chelsea's signature, and it's went to Faye.
It went to Faye and, there's another member of PPCA and
Perry.
Perry Dragon and Steve
Steve
Adamczyk.
Adamczyk. And that
Yes.
went out.
Okay.
That went out today.
Today.
That was timely. Okay, good.
Holidays were kind of made life
She was
difficult.
gone.
Did you know that I was going to ask this
Just
question?
made it.
Well, but my question was, my understanding of the motion was that we are more than willing to cooperate in any talks on this, but it did not say that the district is in favor.
Correct.
In
Exploratory only.
Nothing is to be mentioned about this means we're in favor or not in favor of it.
A long way from being
Here's
committed.
what it says. I'll read it. I'll just read
Well,
it.
because there are some people that are making that leap.
Okay.
And I just want to make it clear that we're going to participate in talks and see where it leads.
Just discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah, the request was, and I'll read you the letter, and
Okay.
you can chastise me if I drafted it improperly. The first part is, hey, the Board of Supervisors at its meeting on November 20th reviewed your letter dated November 20th, attached with regards to request for position statement, request concerning GSCDD-owned roads, gatehouse, and sidewalks in GSCDD rights-of-way in the Pelican Reserve community in GSCDD, the GSCDD assets. While you have not provided a copy of a duly adopted resolution of the Board of Directors of PPCA concerning this matter, the request asks the Board of GSCDD to provide a letter attesting to the Board's previously stated position that it would be willing to transfer the GSCDD assets to PPCA at some time in the future, should PPCA formally request such a transfer. You advise that PPCA has initiated preliminary discussions with the city of Fort Myers, the city, to determine if the city would be willing to, I think, it says access, but entertain, basically transfer the assets to the city, and the city thereafter transferring the GSCDD assets to PPCA. While GSCDD has not been party to those communications, you have also advised that the city's legal department requested that PPCA obtain written affirmation from GSCDD of GSCDD's willingness to transfer the GSCDD assets. This letter is for the purpose of affirming that the board of GSCDD globally, presently, conceptually, that's vague, remains willing to transfer the GSCDD assets to the city and consent thereafter to the city's conveyance transfer of the GSCDD assets to PPCA in a manner and using processes and procedures consistent with Florida law, including but not limited to Florida statutes and relevant court opinions, with any transaction, transfer, or conveyance being subject to formal written agreements entered into by all the parties, detailing with specificity the terms and conditions of any transfer of the GSCDD assets. In this process, it is essential that GSCDD be involved in all communications between the city and PPCA, and that PPCA fully cooperate with GSCDD.
So this is to start the discussion on
That sounded a little
facilitating
bit
this
too much
change.
like we're going to do it, and we're not. All we're doing is talking about
It says conceptually, presently affirmed.
Say something more like exploratory.
Yeah, I mean, we're not, that sounded like a commitment. We're not committing to anything. We're just saying we're willing to let them go to the city. Yeah, we'll talk. But
And
we
we'll
can't
be happy
commit till
to
we know
talk,
it's
and we'll
what the
be happy to
impact is.
participate in talking.
Right.
But this, I did not take that vote on the motion that Bob made to say that this board was in favor
Correct.
of doing that.
And we're not. We don't know. We're just in favor of letting them talk to the city to see if it's possible.
I stand correcting
You're
you.
collecting data.
Yes. So you might want to
Okay,
massage that a little bit.
Yes, it's already done up, we'll revise it.
Because that sounded a little too, like we're willing to just do it when we're not.
Okay.
All right.
Well, are you, this has already been sent though, right?
Yeah, we can send a revised one. It's fine.
Okay.
It's for clarification purposes, just to clarify.
Okay.
As long as that's the
So,
direction of the board here today.
Could you send a clarification letter that we are willing to participate, but that there's been no votes taken either for or against doing it?
And I think we said that I was going to participate in the meeting, or at least sit in on it.
Right.
Correct. I remember, I was gonna say Bob was gonna be
Yeah.
a person.
Because we're a long way from getting rid of the roads. Okay.
We'll run this by Bob also before it goes
All right.
out. If that's okay.
Okay, I would appreciate it because at the homeowners association had their meeting yesterday. And when Faye gave her report, it almost sounded like we had taken a vote on being in favor of transferring these things.
Sounds like the cart was ahead of the horse.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that
yes.
is not how I remembered it, and that's why I brought it
Not
up
the way
to
I
you.
thought I presented it. I know what I said. I don't know what they heard.
That was my understanding when we did it the last time, that it was for discussion purposes to see if there was an interest.
Yes.
We can amend and
Okay.
resend.
Thank you.
And Bob will pass it to you before we send it.
That would be great.
Okay.
Anything else for Tony?
Yes, sir.
I got one for Tony. What's the follow-up on our deal with the litigation? Is that done?
Yes, that was taken care of at the last board meeting.
I mean, the follow-up,
We've received nothing further.
I'm sorry?
We have received nothing further, but I can double check.
Thank you. Anything else for Tony?
I got one for Tony.
Go ahead.
The never-ending saga of the easements.
Yes, sir.
I believe we're down to the last one of Solero, and we need a proper drawing that reflects what we hope to achieve. So if we can get that done, I'd really like to get that
I
wrapped
guess,
up in 2026.
yeah, I guess the key issue is whether or not the
Actually,
line crosses two parcels or one property for the single-family section.
Just draw it and put it anywhere you want it. Just get it done.
well, do you want 2 easements or 1 easement?
I don't care.
All right, let's
it
get
done.
2 then. We'll get 2.
Yeah,
Just to protect.
the easement document's already drafted, it's just a matter of getting the graphics. So if we can just get.
Do we need both homeowners to sign it? It's not a big deal. Let's just get it done.
We can do that.
Okay,
I'll work on that next week.
When I read the letter from start to stop, looks like Tony wrote it. It's 10 pages. I forget where the hell I am when I got to the end.
they're both the same.
Okay, all right.
And they both grant the easement. The key is we already have the graphics for the one lot 29.
All right.
It's a matter of getting the
Let's-
graphics for lot
Let's
28.
just get her done.
All
Okay.
right,
Anything else, Bob?
I'll work on that
Not
next
for
week.
Tony.
Doug?
Nope.
Flavia, anything for Tony?
No, nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Okey doke. Future board business. Chelsea?
Just Pond standards is the big thing. The pond subcommittee is reviewing the final version, quote unquote, final version to present.
Pack next week.
Oh, it's going to PPAC next week as well, and then it'll come to you as a discussion.
Is that one that's in their,
Yes.
on their website? That's the one that's up
And the-
for discussion?
Yep.
Okay.
But other than, Laura plugged in all of the budget things because we're right around the corner from that. But generally, knock on wood, it's pretty quiet around this time of year. Thank you for taking off the second meeting in December. That'll give us a little bit of time to get some of the things queued up ready for January, and bids coming in for Pelican's Pond. So
We're off the 18th, we're off the 1st,
Yeah,
and our
back
next meeting
15th.
is the 15th.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
workshop at 2.
Workshop at 2 to do pond standards.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to ask for,
You want to go into supervisor comments?
no, I'd like to
Oh,
ask for an
oh.
agenda item
Oh.
on the 15th. Looking ahead as we start into the budget, I would like to know what we have left in the 2023 bonds fund.
Okay.
So, I mean, forget the stuff for the administrative building. We're probably going to use every dollar of that. Forget, but specifically, I'd like to know
What project?
what money there was in there for phase 1 of the parks over at the, how much bond money there is there for that.
Let
How
me,
much
Recapitulation of everything.
Well, how much bond money is there yet for ponds? And so that we can say, do we have enough to finish all the ponds, or do we not have enough? I just,
so can I ask a clarification?
Yes.
You want to know what we've borrowed for the 2023 bond series, how much money we have sitting in the pot, not eligible out of the $55 million bond validation, just how much money we actually took out in the bond series.
yes,
There's two things.
yes.
Because having it
But-
available is very different than committing it.
Yes.
Right. So, but there was probably other things that were put in there. And I think we as a board should look at them now, 2 years, some odd later, and say, oh, we're probably never going to do that. Can we move that over to
You just want an
so-and-so?
update on where we're at on the
What
bond.
projects were complete? Laura,
Right. I
surprising.
mean, maybe we need more money
I have a
for ponds.
spreadsheet.
She has a spreadsheet. Well, yes, we can give an
Of course
update
you do.
on where we're at and how much. and
Actually,
what
Stephen
projects-
Bloom created it, so I just updated.
What
Well, I mean,
projects?
maybe we're going to need more money for ponds now that it's later and costs have gone up and all that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yep, we can do an agenda item on that.
Yep,
But you're,
easy.
and then the other thing is, I lost it. Never mind. Go.
It'll come back.
I know. Just go on to something else. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
Do you want me to touch on Mr. Wilkins?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's definitely some gray area. There's definitely some lessons learned. So long story short, the call came in. It was about irrigation. And as part of that whole conversation, there were some questions about shrubs and who maintains shrubs around the lift station. So the phone call, although it came into the front office and to utilities, because it was landscaping and then irrigation, that phone call got transferred to Angelo, our landscape and irrigation tech. Angelo doesn't maintain anything inside of Pelican. So the response that it wasn't ours was in the sense of it's not our mainscape contract, it's not our Ameriscape contract. Not that it wasn't a utility issue item. What should have happened is we should have taken down the name and number, gone and researched it and followed up. Now, $1,200, I don't know what you spent on $1,200. That's an astronomical amount of money. The follow-up to that is there was some email communication between James and Mark Eversman. Mark brought me involved into that email. I said, let me research this. We'll get back to you. I asked Bill Shaw to go out and investigate it. That's when he tightened. There was water standing. He did tighten the expander. I don't know
So it
if that was
on our side of the meter.
It was in the meter
box,
box,
which
yes.
we say is ours. I don't know if that occurred before or after Greenscapes was out there. So, I mean, I can go back and look at text messages and or calls.
I can answer that. Was, again, the process was I called the emergency. I didn't like the response. So
I can't hear.
Can you come to, yeah, come to the mic, James.
The microphones are good, but they're not that good.
I started with a call to the emergency number. They told me it wasn't theirs. I understand now why they said what they did. So I was unhappy with that. So that's when I called Mark. Mark then got hold of Ameriscape, who then said the water is because we were irrigating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, I had no idea how much property that was supposed to be irrigating because it's really not part of Matarita 2. Hence, now I understand it's probably Pelican Preserve, and I understand that, but Greenscapes was very specific, this is a meter problem. And I just couldn't find anybody who was willing to come out and take a look into, and again, maybe I didn't communicate, I'm not blaming anybody, this was a process. At that point, Greenscapes brought in their pumps, they pumped out all the water that was in both the.
What date was that again?
28th. This was all done on the 28th.
Because I wasn't engaged until the 5th of November.
Why didn't we just simply turn off the meter?
We did, but now you have an area that's not being irrigated. So I believe that we should, especially this time of year, irrigation needs to flow however much we're allowed to use it. So at that point.
Well, I mean, that would have stopped the water and stopped the damage.
It did stop the water,
Yeah.
but then it didn't fix the problem. So then I had Greenscapes go back and say, everyone's telling me this is not their issue, so it must be mine. Go in and tell me what the problem is. So they had 2 techs go out, and they pumped all the water out. They checked all the stuff on the irrigation side, and that's when it's definitely the meter. And that's when Joe is his name from Greenscapes, called Bill. Bill came out and tightened the connector. And it was done, other than 2 days later, I went back and turned the water on, so it worked, but.
So the $1,200 didn't even fix the issue because we still had to go back up there. So that I mean, I do think the $1,200 without seeing it, because it's, but I don't dictate what people charge for their job. So it's $1,200 and the issue is still not fixed because we had to go back and fix it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All I'm trying to do is recoup the time that my Greenscape people spent.
The 1,200 is total Greenscape
Yeah,
bill.
that's just labor. That was just their labor.
Well,
But
but here's my question. What do you mean it's labor? Because you just told me that they went in, and if it's just labor, that means the issue would be corrected. But Bill had to go back there and tighten
You
the
have,
parts. So
you have 2 separate irrigation boxes. You have a box that's got the meter in it. You got the box that has irrigation in it. The water was flowing out of the top of both of those boxes.
okay,
So you
what is
couldn't
the
look at anything
1,200? What
You
is the
couldn't
12?
look at
I
anything
know, but
until you
I
pumped
don't.
all the water out.
Sounded like summer wind
And
all over again.
I mean, this is not something new for the vendor. It's not something for me, and I'm not even on the business. But so $1,200 is the cost to assess and pump the water out. Is that what you're telling me?
That is correct. It was the cost to get rid of all the water, to check all the irrigation pieces.
See what the issue was.
To see what the issue truly was. And again, if I could have communicated better that someone from Gateway had come out to begin with to look at where the leak was, my guys wouldn't have touched anything.
Just looking at the invoice, and I don't mean to put you on the spot on the podium. The invoice says there's an irrigation mainline break located across from the irrigation controllers near the valves that needs to be repaired as soon as possible. And that the services billed as time and materials for irrigation labor at 16 hours, I'm assuming, and it's $1,280.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I don't think, no company, $1,200 for just assessing and pumping the water. It just isn't, in not fixing the issue. I think the invoice, it's, I'm just really going out there, but it's a combination of more than just what the CDD is responsible for.
Again, I am not an irrigation expert. I have Greenscapes, who's my landscaper. They went out and looked at the problem, sent me the invoice saying, if you want me to fix it, this is how much it's going to cost, with parts could have been above what the original estimate was for.
Bill, if you hadn't tightened it, would it still be leaking today?
It would still be leaking water as we speak.
I think it's a $1,280 lesson well learned, and I move that we approve
I second.
that.
Where are you paying that out of? From what fund? Is that a Pelican fund or is
That
that
would-
the utility fund?
Should be utility, I would think. I mean, it is a utility, it's water.
It would have to be irrigation. It's not
Yeah.
001.
But is it
has to be
before or
004.
after?
Reclaimed water, yes.
It has to be 004.
Right.
Here's my concern. What I just read on that invoice, it says it is a main line break.
Exactly. I mean, if you call it for a vote, I'll tell you what I go, just because of how you read that invoice. And because that is not an invoice to correct the issue, because the issue that is our responsibility was not corrected until our staff went and corrected.
You want them to rewrite the invoice? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, if you approve
No, I mean-
it, if you do approve it, we will need the invoice, the proof that it was paid, and then a W-9 to whomever we're paying it to, and then what account it's being charged out of.
What account would you suggest it be?
I don't think we should pay the entire amount.
We
should-
don't have an account for boo-boos,
No.
mistakes? Okay, we made a mistake. Move on. Pay it and move on.
I don't necessarily know that it was a mistake because we were basing our decisions off of the information provided at the time. So I think it would be a split cost between us and the HOA.
Look, not trying to point fingers here, but I think we misdiagnosed, and anytime somebody calls a hotline after hours, we should be doing due diligence.
It was not after hours.
Or even anytime they're calling the hotline, I think
It would still be leaking if Bill hadn't fixed it. That's my bottom line on it. I mean, I'm not,
Right.
so therefore,
Well,
it's a
the
utility issue.
$1,200 didn't fix the leak.
No,
And
but
that's
it-
the point that I'm trying
Told
to
you
do.
what the leak
1200
was.
No, if you read the invoice, it told you,
You're
it
back to
told
the
you what the
invoice
leak
now.
was, and it was, there was more work that was not what we're talking about. I
We
have no
wasted more
problem
than
paying for,
$1,200 talking
I
about
have
this.
I have no problem
If
paying
the-
for
if the
the
deal
guy to
would've
go in
gotten-
and assess it.
If the deal would have gotten, or the phone call would have gotten to
Bill
the
right away.
person on staff for utilities, we wouldn't be where we're at.
that's my
correct.
point.
That's my
And again,
point, yeah.
just, and it's a lesson learned. We'll do better in the future, but
So we have a
we have to
motion,
take some accountability,
we have a
regardless
motion.
of what the invoice says.
we have a motion to approve the payment. Do we had a second?
A second.
Any other discussion?
Yes, where are you paying it from?
You tell me.
04?
Board contingency?
Okay,
That's your boo-boos.
I don't care.
Okay.
But I think we took up, we made a mistake.
But,
We should correct it.
but there should be a memo on that, so we can line it back to this item, because we should, like, from a auditing.
Well, we'll need all of the documentation proof of what was done and
I
what.
just want to be able
and
to
the
trace it back
invoice.
to this item.
Yeah, we'll be able to do that. So James, I'll reach out to you tomorrow on all of the invoice and all of the documentation that's needed.
My only other question is, if I run into this problem in the future, what am I supposed to do?
You call the office. You
Do what
did
you did.
exactly, you do exactly what you did. And honestly, if it gets to it, you call me or email me. Okay?
Again, I hated the thought of having to call him.
Well,
to
Give
come
you,
out
give you an
and tell
example.
me.
This happened a month ago on my watch over at Gateway Greens. And I called for the emergency. We had water shooting 6 feet in the air on a 4-inch line, and it was a mess. But the staff was out there in 15 minutes, and we determined that the break was on the owner side, the community association side. And so they had to fix it, and they had to pay for all the costs and everything. But we had a person there who had knowledge.
Right.
That's the difference here. We had somebody that said something that was erroneous, and that led to the whole deal. So we have a motion.
Misinterpreted the.
Yeah, it was misinterpreted. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And thank you very much.
So-
Chelsea, just email me what you require. and-
Perfect. Will do. Thanks, James.
Thank you, James.
Thanks for coming in.
Okey-doke. Anything? Supervisor comments? Supervisor comments. Carol, anything?
Yes, now I remember. Pensions.
Pencils?
Pensions.
Oh, pensions.
Pensions. I think that this coming budget year is the year we should seriously consider moving from the pension system that we're in onto the state one.
State deal.
And I know it's going to be a one-time leap, and we're going to have to look for the money. But I truly think as we have formed a good team here, you got to
Protect it.
yeah. And I know it's going to be an expense, but I think if we start looking at it now and try and figure out how we can do it, I think it's possible to do it for the next budget year.
2027.
So all those facts and figures that you had last year, if you could update them and bring them maybe in February or March or something like that.
Okay.
So that we can look at that again. But I think we've heard from the people that are auditing us and everything that we're doing okay. I mean, we're not doing great, but we're doing okay. And I think this next year is the year to make the jump.
And you know that's an ongoing annual $200,000 plus expense. Okay.
So
The only trouble I have with it, Carol, my heart is with you, but the people don't want it. They'd rather have the money now. So it's a tough nut to get over.
I
I
think-
agree with you. If it was me, I would definitely want it as an employee. But I'm hearing from the employees,
They don't.
they don't.
yeah.
They'd rather have
They want
the
they want
dollars
the
in
money.
their pocket now.
it,
So I don't know.
it's,
Let's look at it.
Yeah.
I'll be open.
so Carol, you reminded me, thank you. I failed to mention earlier, Laura and I, when we switched to and negotiated with Brown and Brown,
yeah.
our new broker, and we moved from Florida Blue to Cigna last year and enhanced our benefits, our medical, vision, dental. At that time last year, we negotiated basically a maximum increase for this year, which was
9%.
9%. Actually was talking to Tony.
Our law from Brown & Brown, also through Cigna, they're our carrier, and our office manager negotiated the rate down from a 40% increase to 24.7%.
So what we
And
negotiated.
that's about the bottom that they could go.
Yeah,
I mean,
so what we negotiated last year for this year, when they first, I mean, we're in open enrollment now, they tried to hit us with a 13%. We said, no, we agreed last year maximum 9%. I think we got it down to 5%. So that is a huge win from staff on savings and forward thinking. I know 5%, nobody likes an increase at all, but hearing
in this
horror
market,
stories
yeah.
that others are dealing with right now, especially prescriptions. I just wanted to kudos to Laura. I know this has been a headache transitioning to Cigna. Anytime you change brokers and medical, it's a headache, but she does all of the work for this, and truthfully, this is a big win for us for this year.
Great job.
So
Hey, guys,
Congratulations. That's great.
Anything else, Cal?
I don't have anything. I know you didn't ask me, but I'm gonna have to let you guys go. So thank you.
all right, thanks,
Okay,
Flavia.
see you, Flavia.
Merry Christmas.
Bob, anything?
Oh, yeah, I got a couple things. The street light project is going extremely well in Pelican. These guys come in, they hit it, they clean up afterwards. You don't even know they were there when they leave. The new lights are in. Nothing's hooked up yet, but about a
FPL
third of
doing
our.
this? Is it the same vendor that did our
Oh,
subcountry?
No.
Oh, he's doing a hell of a job. And the new lights are much taller than existing. That kind of surprised me.
Usually
But
brighter
anyway,
too.
kudos to Paul and the group, because these guys are nailing it.
Good.
Our landscape subcommittee has been very prolific in some of their planning, and they have some kind of cactus pups. I don't know what they are, but they're little cacti, and we're offering them to the community, and I wanted to throw it out over to our landscape group over here, rather than going out and buying these things. But if somebody has any interest, call Eversman, because apparently he's got hundreds of them. So if you ever want to put them someplace. Thank you.
We don't want those on over here, especially not next to utility boxes.
Yeah.
Now I know why we're throwing them away. Okay.
Okay.
Lastly, I had a request from one of our residents, a re-request from an old request of opening the multimodal path on the west side of Tree Line so we can get down to Winn-Dixie. You can't get down there by going to Colonial Boulevard. It's just too dangerous. So we're going to now explore maybe front feeding the cost if we get PPAC's agreement to finish that road ourselves and then hope to recover it, or the multimodal path, and hope to recover the funds when those two lots are developed, because
It's on the west side of the road.
yes, they have to do it.
Backside, yeah.
You know, it's in the DRI, but we need to get that sooner rather than later. So I just wanted that to be information for everybody. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
No, the only thing is I hate that I'm going to miss the Winterfest over the weekend. I'll be taking 33 12 and 13-year-olds 13 hours to Charlotte, North Carolina for the Pop Warner National Championship. Our 12-year-olds won the Southeast region
Nice.
last weekend. So we're
Awesome.
going to represent South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida in the Pop Warner
They're
National
playing in the
Championship.
Panther Stadium?
We play, no, we play at Mecklenburg Sports Complex, which is a very big sports complex. There's 8 teams representing each region, and there's 5 divisions from U8 to U14. We
How
actually
many
have,
kids you got that are going?
we have 33 on our team, so I one of the coaches, so we've got 33, but we've got 5 teams from Fort Myers that are going to nationals, which is unprecedented.
Make us
How
proud.
many days you gonna be there?
Yeah.
We're leaving Friday night at 9 o'clock. Will be the championship game. If we make it all the way through, we have 3 games. We play next Saturday. The temperature in North Carolina right now, as you probably know, is between lows in the 30s, highs in the 50s. Our kids have no idea. Yeah,
Bunch
so
of 12-year-olds.
If there's anyone that, so we're having to buy.
Well, you'll see those
Undershirts,
NFL guys
long
with all those
johns.
heels on, they
Yeah,
don't, they have it
yeah,
on for
they
a
don't.
reason.
So
Make us
if
proud.
anyone would like to make a donation, please let me know. 'Cause we have to outfit a bunch of
That's got to be a
bunch of
lot
kids.
of chaperones. Oh, my God.
Bourbon, tequila,
cats.
what's your?
Yeah, I'm good. That's it.
Well,
Thank
Good
you.
luck to your team.
They're not showing anybody.
I got 2 items. Wetland 47 and 48 are horrible. You now cannot see 2 of the golf holes whatsoever. There are exotics all over that deal. We got some things growing out there that are 12, 15 feet high. Somebody's got to get in there and get that cleaned up.
This is the same 2 that you mentioned at the last meeting,
Yep.
because we've had the conservation contractor out there. Now, they're not, I mean, they're gonna spray and do whatever, but they're not gonna fully remove. Is that your expectation? Because I want to make sure we're clear.
I don't know how else they're going to, I don't know what,
In the
these are
past, they've gone
basically
through
like
that cut.
trees that are
They can't.
growing.
They can't
The
cut
staff
it.
been over there and looked at it
Yes,
because it's horrible. It
yes.
is absolutely horrible.
I think what Doug was alluding to in the past, as opposed to doing prescribed burns, they went through and did an activity that mimics a prescribed burn. I can't remember the.
But only if they're exotics.
That's, yeah, that's all it is. Exotics are
Okay.
need to be
That's the
removed
problem.
out of the
Well,
wetland. I mean, they shouldn't be there.
Hold on.
And they
We'll
shouldn't
take-
even
yeah.
gotten in this condition to be this tall.
2:30, you good?
So anyway, that's the
Oh,
one,
2:30? Okay, that's great.
that's one issue.
That's an
Then,
area out of the past, Ed.
I'm sorry.
That's an area out of the past.
Yeah. Well, they were asking me, why don't we just go in and burn it? I said, I got that burned once before and got burned. No. The other one is that I haven't seen any signs yet, and I'm assuming it's taking time just to get it done. Down there with our school buddies that are queuing up, have they been told that we're doing this or have done it?
No, we've ordered the signs, and because you guys wanted the aesthetic pulls.
I think
those
I
gotta
would
come in.
immediately send a notice to that school, let them know we have passed this and you better start coming up with a plan because.
I mean, we can tell, we've told them, I've met with them and told
And
them.
I met with them.
So,
They know that we ban parking on the road.
no, we've told them that this is not acceptable and they need to
We
come
now
up.
they need to tell them that there was a
We
vote
can.
and they're banned so that they can start doing the work and then they don't come back. Well, you surprised us. We've been knowing about it now for a month. But it's not changing. They're queuing up and
I came over early today, so I didn't see it today.
do what?
I came over for 2 o'clock, so they weren't, doing it today.
Yeah, it depends on when you're there.
Right.
It's gotten so bad that it's queued on Daniels all the way, almost back to Gateway Boulevard.
I do know that Flavia was also working with the sheriff's office on bringing awareness to this. Obviously, we're going to work with FWC next month. And we've notified them of the schedule that we're looking for them to fill. So they're going to put it out to their people and see if we can get some of those shifts filled. And these areas of concern where you have told them to hit.
Everybody in Gateway Greens is really happy about that. They're tired. It's dangerous. You come out of Gateway Greens onto West Links Drive and you've got to drive,
Oh.
you got to drive in the wrong lane.
Yep. Yep. We'll send a notice to the school.
Okay, no, I didn't have anything else.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Everybody have a happy, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New
Holidays,
Year.
everybody.
See y'all.
See you in January.
Okay,
I
no.
apologize.
You can do me a favor.
Here's what I'm saying. I just said.